This is the Mountainside podcast, and for this week's episode, we are in Tempe, Arizona with Marisa LaRen. She's the co-founder of War Party Ranch. She's a competition shooter competing in handgun competitions across the country. She's a tattoo artist and painter. We recorded this episode in her beautiful studio in Tempe, Arizona. It was an amazing conversation, incredible trip. I really enjoyed sitting down with Marisa, getting to know her. She's an amazing woman, doing amazing things. Enjoy our conversation.
Just dive right into it?
Let's go.
Sure. All right. Thank you for having us. We just rolled into Phoenix, Tempe, actually, right? Is this considered Tempe?
Yeah, this is Tempe.
Okay. It's been so long since I've been here, but what an amazing studio. I'm just looking around. Oh, you know what's crazy? I didn't even notice that when we went in, the Overton.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he gifted me. It's just a print, but yeah, he sent that to me. He's very nice and helpful.
That's so rad. We've had communication with him as well.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's been super awesome and supportive. I think he listens to the podcast. So shout out, Greg, if you're listening to this.
Heck yeah.
But we have a skate deck with that same exact.
Yeah, well, that's
print,
amazing. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he's so talented.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted and sidetracked.
Okay.
But there's so much to look at in here. Thanks. This is such an amazing studio, and I appreciate the hospitality.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me and doing all this work to come out here. So
it's a little bit more of a setup.
Yeah.
It's so much more of a better experience for the guests when they just walk into the studio and everything's turned on and we just go.
Right.
But this is cool for me. It's good to get out. It's something that I want to do more. And, with good sponsorship and some of that other stuff that we got coming up with the companies that truly want to help.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It makes it possible, So we're going on 5 years now.
Yeah.
But I really love this. I love this connection. I know you and I have been going back for
a couple of years, it feels like, or at least a year.
Yeah, I've been asking you to come on for
a while.
At least 3 years, probably.
That's what I was like.
As long as I've known Jeremiah.
It feels like and I've known, probably about the same amount of time as I've known Jeremiah. So at least a couple years. So
what an amazing dude.
The best.
Shout out to him for setting this up too.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's an incredible human. One of my favorite people.
Same. He's one of my favorite people and one of my best friends and literal family. So I feel really, really grateful for him.
I would do almost anything for him.
Same.
If he was we got to go bury this body, I'd be like, okay, let's go. But it hasn't come down to that yet. But no, I love having him in. I love the organization that you're a part of. What is your role in War Party?
So I'm one of the co-founders for War Party Ranch, and then I'm the self-defense coordinator for our War Party Ranch as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where do I start with you? We have so much to talk about today. I guess in the self-defense side of stuff, you guys, let's just dive right into what you guys just did in conjunction with the pistol course and self-defense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been trying to get more of these self-defense courses up and running. War Party Ranch is still really new, so we're still we just have a really good board right now. We went through kind of changing out board members, and we have a really tight-knit group who's working really hard, which is amazing, and it makes things a lot more possible. But the self-defense courses, we're really advocating for women to become more self-sufficient, more independent, more capable, especially women who have been through abuse or trafficking. That's our whole mission. And me personally, this hits really hard. It's one of the reasons I'm in this role is because I come from an abuse background from a young age, and then domestic abuse as well. And one of the things that helped me gain independence was becoming more capable, more self-sufficient, learning how to defend myself, essentially, literally out of fear for my life of what might happen if I don't kind of equalize my situation. And over the years, just realizing that when women have the tools to equalize something like that, because unfortunately females are not as strong and capable as some men, that having learning how to do self-defense is such an amazing thing for them. And I love that we're providing a really safe space for women to come and learn those skill sets that are actual like Jeremiah, the way he teaches it still, like in some of the other instructors we had, it's very like most likely scenario, not any of this like Instagram guru, like crazy stuff that will never be used and is never going to happen. So I love that it's very like real life situations.
100%. That's why I'm behind it 100%. Why I'm sitting here with you today, I think, is I'm a huge advocate for it. And I grew up in a crazy situation with tons of domestic violence that I've gotten into with Jeremiah and other people on other podcasts. And I'd be happy to tell you about it, but I'm sure
we can share.
Yeah. But I look at the stats, and then the more that I've had Jeremiah in and really getting into some of the statistics of domestic violence, and it all kind of like clicked with me for the first time, where it's like, well, maybe what I experienced, there's a lot more people that probably have similar experiences. And when I heard those stats, like 1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence at one point in their lifetime, like that's fucking blows my mind. I have 2 daughters, and I know I keep saying that, but like that's a hard reality check that probably one of them at some point is going to experience it in their life.
Violence, right? Or like sexual assault. Like the amount of women that I've met who have been through some sort of like sexual assault or situation is absurd. Like it's more women than it's not. Like, and it's really unfortunate that that's the case. And I feel like because a lot of it doesn't get reported, like people will turn a blind eye to it because a lot of times like women are embarrassed or scared or they don't like they feel judged, which happens all the time. So the statistics like to be 1 in 3, sometimes I'm like, it might even be higher.
I'm sure it is, because I brought this up with Taylor Wellman when we had her, and this was just me thinking out loud. I'm like, well, all the times that domestic violence was in my house, it was only reported one time, right? And I think it's an embarrassing thing. Like, you don't want that to happen. Like, I wasn't going to school and be like, you'll never believe what happened to me last night.
Yeah, I lied about it.
I just shut up about it, right? And yeah, it's just something that it's embarrassing, right? So I would guess that the stats are at least double that.
I agree. I totally.
So it's probably like 1 in 2.
I agree. Absolutely.
Which is insane to me. But also, you know, like, I don't believe in some of the statistics and like if you grew up in a abusive household that you're going to then turn around 100%. And do it to somebody else.
Absolutely, that's true.
It turned me off to it so bad.
You're an anomaly.
Right.
As am I.
Okay.
You're a cycle breaker, which is very rare. The statistic is, and it's for sexual abuse, domestic abuse, child abuse, all of that, more than likely people repeat the patterns they learn, especially as young children. I know for a fact that I have a sibling who has fallen into those same patterns as my mother, with like alcoholism, mental abuse, physical abuse, just repeating those cycles. And my whole family is very similar, like across the board. They all are repeating those cycles, and it's very common statistic. So the people who decide to be cycle breakers, you're actually rare.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I just think it's part of like being a good person. I guess I had good role models in like my mom's brothers and stuff like that, and her dad were really good role models for me. But it affected me later in life getting in trouble for using violence, protecting people that might have been in my same situation, or knowing a female that was sexually assaulted or something like. You know, that's the other crazy thing about it, is like defending it. You can't really defend it unless you call the law.
Some people deserve to get punched in the mouth.
I agree. And I thought that
like a little bit more of that would probably.
And I still feel that way if somebody did that to one of my loved ones, you know, like for sure.
I'm a big advocate for repercussions. I talk about it a lot because I feel like it's really important for people, young, old, whatever, to realize that they can't get away with doing bad things. If they get away with it, they continue. That's especially what I learned. I grew up in an abusive household and then back-to-back abusive relationships, and I was allowing them to get away with that behavior. Why would they stop? It's like with cheaters or abusers or you know, criminals, like there's no repercussions. Why would they why would they stop doing it?
Yeah, no,
So,
you're 100% right.
so yeah, like, punch in the mouth. It's like someone might not talk to you that way. Like I've had situations like that where I'm like, oh, if you're going to like assault me at a bar, like I'm going to do something about it. And hopefully you think twice before you treat another female that way. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, I'll choke you out in front of everyone here. Let's go.
You scare me. I saw the 2 knives you're packing. Sorry. Well, it was a good hang,
Yes, yeah.
We'll do it again or something. So, yeah, the cycles of domestic violence and all that sort of stuff is crazy. And I just really appreciate what you're doing and being a voice for it and War Party in general. So that's why I'm behind it. And you guys do so many cool things too, like the virtual 5K.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Me and my son had we had the best time. Like we never, like if we're going to go for a trail run where I live, which I do on a daily basis, I try to do a 5K a day. It doesn't always happen, right? Like sometimes I only have time to get in a mile or something, but I try to for my dog's sanity, my sanity. And then my son will go with me occasionally, but like to have a purpose to go. And then we decided, I was like, you know what, if we're going to go in the name of this, like if we're going to be wearing these red t-shirts, which we never do. Like I'm always dressed in black. I'm like fucking Johnny Cash, right? So to put on a red t-shirt is a big feat for me. Right. But I was like, let's go to Red Rocks on a Sunday. Cause there's so many people that work out there. Right.
Yeah.
So we ran Red Rocks twice, like the amphitheater and then kind of like down the road to the lower parking lot. And it ended up being that 5K. And we got stopped several times, like, just like, what are you guys doing? Or this is so cool, you're running with your son. Because we were like,
running.
He was running the stairs.
Yeah.
I also did it in a 40-pound vest too. So I
good
was like,
for you. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So I was like, if I'm going to suffer for a cause, I'm going to at least do it in the vest, which I normally wouldn't do that either. So it was like a little bit of extra suffer, but it was just so cool. And it was like self-accountability. But then also my son, it's the first time where we'd helped out with some nonprofits, but we've done something in the name of suffering to raise awareness. And then we were able to talk. There were so many people there. We were able to talk to a couple different people.
Oh, I love that. How old is your son?
He just turned 12.
That's amazing. What a good example for him, though.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Like to do something for other people and like you said, like suffering for a cause. I love that.
Yeah. And he had so much fun that he was like, are we doing that this weekend? I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm out of town. But yes, we can do it. We had a blast up at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool spot. And then just that's kind of a spiritual spot to me anyways. Like I know Arrowhead Golf Course was like sacred ground to Native Americans and some of the tribes around there. And I know that there's caves and stuff at Red Rocks that they found and, with stuff in them. So, that they were around like the Front Range. It's just it's a very spiritual place. Yeah.
I've only been to Red Rocks once.
Really?
Ever. Yeah.
You got to come back.
Yeah. With Jeremiah. Like we went and we did like just with merch for War Party stuff. It's the only time I've ever been there. So I've never never really explored the area or been to a concert or nothing. So.
Oh, you got to go.
Yeah. I try not to go back to Colorado. It's got too many bad memories.
You just don't. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it. It's just super negative energy for me personally.
Really?
Like I even flying into Junction for that event, I got like literal physical anxiety, which I almost never get, and felt like sick to my stomach. Did not want to go back.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it was like fine, alleviated, and I know like the whole event was great and worth it. But yeah, I hate going back there.
Wow.
Yeah. Plus, I still have someone in like the Denver area who has threatened to murder me, and is a horrible person. And I,
Man, I tell you what, like you women deal with so much. Like I have so many friends that have your status or have some sort of social following or.
Oh no, he was an ex. He's a sociopath and a groomer.
Yeah. There's so many creeps out there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because where I grew up is a mile from the studio. Like, so all the domestic violence that, like if I'm leaving the podcast studio and driving to my home, I drive by the home that everything happened in. But it doesn't affect me that way. It's just like, it's kind of like the past. So That'd be hard if it haunts you like that.
It's not like I haven't dealt with it. My issue is that it's a small town and people
right.
remember you from the last time they knew you. And it's been 10 plus years since I've lived there. And anytime I've had to go back, like I flew in there to go to Moab. And if you see someone you know, they can't get past who you were. And then they want to dredge up old memories. So like, especially if they don't know the story, right? So like when I left Grand Junction, it was to get away from a literal sociopath, like someone who found me when I was 17, showed interest when I was 14, and he was 12 years older than me, groomed me, and then was super abusive. So I left that situation, and not a lot of people knew. I was trying to get out. And like some of it came to light towards the end when I was trying to escape, but people don't know. And so when you see them again, they want to ask you like all these weird questions and bring up those old memories, or they like bring up stuff they don't know anything about. And I'm like, I just don't want to relive any of that. Like, I don't mind talking about it with like new people, or I'm going to keep hitting this microphone because I talk with my hands. Like, I don't mind talking with people about, but it's weird when like people like think they know you and they haven't grown or realize that like people change and evolve. And so it's just like, I don't want to have to go through like explaining this to you because you feel like you know me and you never did. So it's more of that than anything, because I don't even have family or anything in there anymore. I don't have nothing there. No ties or nothing.
Yeah, I have a ton of connection at home.
Yeah, none. I honestly feel like I've never had a home. It's just like the place I grew up. So it's just all like, not even just with like the abuse, but like just how people treated me and like all the bad things that happened, like that, like I was just so miserable, like, you know, depressed and like suicidal and losing like just a lot of trauma that I have like dealt with now, but that place just holds such a negative energy. I hate going back. So
I'm sorry, because I love that state.
Yeah,
I've been all over the world, you know, multiple times.
I understand. I always say if like I didn't know anyone there, I would maybe consider living there again. It's the people, not the place. The place doesn't bother me. It's the people.
Maybe you need a new place in Colorado. No,
it's a small state,
so
man.
Set up here.
Yeah, it's a super small state. There's a lot of other good states that I can go.
Yeah. No, well, I appreciate you sharing that and being vocal and being a voice for it, because like we just said, I think so many people just bury that down and forget about it. I mean, I kind of forgot about it. If I didn't have the podcast, I wouldn't talk about it openly. If I didn't know Jeremiah, I wouldn't talk about it openly. Yeah. But realizing how many other people are affected, and then also the outreach. Like, I know from this episode, we're going to have outreach, like,
well, that would be nice. Yeah,
people sharing their experiences. So it's like, it opens doors for more people when you're honest and you do share those experiences. Like, I think the biggest thing is how did you personally, if you don't mind diving into this. I don't mind.
I'm an open book.
How did you break those cycles? Like, once you found yourself, when did you realize you were trapped, and then how did you break those cycles to get out of it? And third question on top of that, what could you have done better in hindsight, right? Because
I mean, I guess better would be like earlier, but I don't know if there's a timeline for when you're ready or capable for something like that. For me personally, I mean, there's like, I left Colorado to get away from one bad situation and ended up just falling into another back to back, not knowing any better. And it took another couple years of, you know, his mental abuse and just being gaslit and torn down and alienated. And I was super, again, depressed and miserable and felt trapped. And I kept thinking like common denominator. Like, I try to be a rational person, and I was like, what's the common denominator? Like, it's me. So I have to be doing something to allow this behavior to continue. Like, something about me is allowing these men or these people, not even just like romantic relationships, like these people in my life who are using and taking and abusing me, like I'm letting them in and I'm allowing them to continue this. So I kind of had to realize that like I'm part of the problem, which is true. It's like, whether it's like not my fault or not, like the patterns I learned as a young child are instilled in me, like confusing what like a love and attention or abuse and toxicity with like emotions. Like, that's something I learned really young, and I had to unlearn it. you have to like unravel all those learned patterns and rewire your brain essentially to get a healthy version of love and relationships. So it kind of came down to me being like, I have to be alone. I have to leave my situation. Like I moved across the country again by myself and was like, I'm going to be alone and I'm going to do all the gross work, like internal work, like read all the books, go to therapy, like figure out the parts of me that need to be fixed because I'm the problem. Like they're the problem, but I'm allowing it. So I had to do all of that, and it took me a long time, like a lot longer than I would have expected. For me personally, I was like 7 years, very, very single, doing like very alone, like very solitary existence, like was working alone, living alone, traveling alone, like just trying to make myself better until I didn't need other people to make me feel worthwhile, and I knew what my worth was before allowing other people into my life again. So it was like a really dark point to have to build myself back up out of it.
That's great. I can't imagine going through that. I can't imagine being alone for 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, I had like friends-ish,
Sure.
but mostly, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
alone.
a hard spot to be in. Like
the 5-year mark was rough. I was like, I'm broken again. Like something's wrong with me. No one wants me. But it was what I needed. Honestly, like when I look back now, I'm like that amount of time was what I needed to unravel and to really find myself and stop like I felt like I shed a lot of the stuff that was pushed onto me because it was. I mean, I was 23 when I left Colorado, 25 when I left all of my like abusive situations and moved to Nevada on my own. So 25 years of my life being told who I should be, that I'm worthless, like all of these things, like 7 years to undo 25. I don't know if that's actually that much.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot I'm sure that you had to unpack there.
Yeah.
What was kind of helping you through that cycle? Because I look around the studio and I look at the art that you create and what you've done in tattoo art, and I'm a fan.
Thank you.
And it's wild to me how many people that thrive and are truly creative that have had maybe not an abusive childhood or abuse happen to them, but they've lost like a parent or they've been through some sort of like significant trauma.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this with like some of the operators that I've had in too. Like a lot of those guys come from being fatherless and were raised by like women. And I was basically too. I was raised by my mom without a dad. And then you get into the fight game. It's the same sort of thing. Like my buddy Chris Camozzi, shout out to him, bare knuckle cruiserweight world champ, defended his title twice, grew up without a dad. His mom raised him, So it's like, it's weird how these correlations also will turn somebody's like creative mind on or switch it on, or maybe it's an escape from what they see as reality, I guess, into being creative. I don't know. Yeah. It's like a weird...
I think trauma makes you funny and creative.
Right. Fucked up sense of humor, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they're coping mechanisms. Not everyone who's creative maybe has trauma, but I do think that it feels like an outlet for a lot of people. Same as like, I don't like martial arts, MMA, like it's an outlet to channel some of that trauma. And I think art does the same thing for a lot of people. Like it just gives you an avenue, like a healthy avenue to channel your trauma. So I think humor does the same thing. So very possible coping mechanisms. But I've been drawing and painting since I can remember. And I guess it was like, I don't know, a control thing. It was like the one of the very few things that I was able to like control and like do whatever I wanted versus not, instead of being controlled. So maybe that's where it came from for me. I'm not really sure. I've never actually thought about it until now.
When did you get into art, and when did you start like drawing or painting?
When did you start drawing as a kid? Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, same. I just never stopped. That's what I always say. Like I feel like all kids start coloring when super early. I just loved it and wanted to be better at it. So I remember being really little and just wanting to be better at it. So I just never stopped. I mean, I guess maybe in high school I just didn't care as much for a while, but I just never stopped, and it was always something that I really loved and wanted to get better at. So I grew up doing like 4-H and putting acrylic paintings in 4-H and just drawing all the time. And I guess I just never stopped.
No, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of a stupid question, right?
Everyone asks it. They're like, "When did you know?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just kept going."
You just kept going.
Yeah.
So as far as a career, because you've been in this space for how long?
The studio just for 2 years.
Okay. And did you have a studio prior?
Yes, in Missouri. Yeah, that was my first private studio. When I moved to Missouri, like 2020 was my first personal private studio. But I mean, I've been working out of other shops since I started my apprenticeship tattooing in Colorado when I was like 19, 20. So I've been 2010, 11-ish is when I started my apprenticeship. So I've been doing it a really long time.
Yeah, that's quite a while.
Yeah.
Especially as a career. I mean, my hat goes off to you.
Thanks.
Like everybody wants to do what they want creatively, but like to be successful at it is a whole nother thing.
It's hard.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very hard, right?
Yeah.
It's a struggle. What kind of struggles have you faced in that?
Well, I mean, I've moved so many times, so I felt like the first
You have
few
to like restart.
I had to
almost, huh?
restart. I feel like really grateful. So when I decided that I wanted to do tattoos, it was kind of random. Like again, I'm like from a pretty small town. It's not like tattooing was a desirable career people would tell you about. Like I was young too. I had no direction or help or didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just at one point something switched and I was like, I think I want to do art and I don't want to be an art teacher. And like, how do I get to do that and get some freedom and be able to be creative? And tattooing kind of, I don't know how it happened. It just kind of like came up, and then I knew I wanted to get tattooed, so I found an artist who was one of the better artists in Colorado. Still incredibly talented, and I wanted him to do my first tattoo, so I like scheduled an appointment, and he was a year out at that time, which was like I think I was 18, so 2009. A year out in like 2009, which is crazy. Like he was super popular. So I waited a year, got tattooed by him and like mentioned like, hey, I'm kind of interested in doing tattoos. And he was like, nope, no desire to teach anyone. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, I'll see you like tomorrow with a bunch of random artwork. And like, I just bothered him enough until he kind of caved.
Okay.
Yeah, like honestly, that was what it was. I like would bring paintings and drawings.
So that's who you apprenticed on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
In my head, when I had decided this, I was like, if he doesn't teach me, because I was weird, I still am. Like I wanted to learn from someone who was talented. Like I remember looking
That's
at.
not weird. That's smart.
I don't know. Like when you're a child, you don't know what good is usually.
Sure.
So I remember kids in high school getting tattooed by someone and they'd be like, he'll tattoo you too. Like he doesn't card. And I'd look at their tattoos and I'm like, that looks like fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Like, ew. And most like 14-year-olds are going to be like, that's so sick, bro. I want to get tattooed. And I was like, ew, I'll wait
Right.
for someone good. So like my brain already like unusual.
That's the artist in you, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like high standards. I was like always had, I don't know if it's from being pushed by my parents, never felt good enough. So I always felt like my standards need to be really high. So I was like, I want to learn from the best. And if I don't learn from him, I'll have to move maybe and find someone who's just as good somewhere else. But then he gave me a chance and I'm like super grateful for him to this day because he he gave me my start and was like super helpful and kind and also pushed me to be a better artist and tattooer. And but it was a lot of hard work because I feel like I know tattooers who've been doing it longer than me and still aren't good or don't care. So it's not like an easy...
I feel like that... I have no experience in it, but I feel like that's a job that you could just get sucked into the cycle, right? And it's like, it's hard. I have to have all my checks and balances, right, to be creative in what I do for this, right? Like, and it's just video editing or whatever, like making those short clips or doing whatever or scheduling or whatever. Like there's some checks and balances that I need to make, and if I I think if I just showed up every day at 8 a.m., it would be really fucking hard. That's probably what I should do. I might be a little bit further along. But there's like, to get in a creative space, and I'm a huge fan of Stephen Pressfield. I don't know if you've read any of his stuff. Oh, I got to turn you on to that.
I read a lot and I don't know who that is.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's written The War of Art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I do know who he is.
Okay. And then he's got a bunch of other books that kind of have branched off of that. He's also a fiction writer, but it's just like dealing with resistance, and like I'll find myself like sitting down to edit or something, and something will come up or something will catch my attention or whatever. And maybe it's because I don't really want to do all that backing creative. I love this.
Yeah.
I love sitting down and
fair.
getting to know Marisa. I love sitting down and getting to pick a neurophysiologist's brain for 2 hours. You know, when a dumb roadie can talk to a neurophysiologist for 2 hours uninterrupted. Or like our last podcast, you know, world champion bull rider. Like, when do you ever get those opportunities?
Yeah,
like,
amazing.
And those are people that want to come talk to me too. So it's like, it's got to be that mutual thing. So I'm so fortunate and so lucky for what I've built. And I really love that aspect of it. But like all the business stuff, like, I'm not a video editor, you know what I mean?
I totally
I've
get
had
it.
fun with it. I've had to make it fun, be able to continue to do this and show and portray people. So that's been fun for me.
Yeah.
But I have to have like my workout done. I have to have, you know, the dog's got to be good. The family's got to be good. The kids got to be good. All that sort of stuff. And then I can really concentrate on being creative, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like that part is probably less of the, I don't know, maybe creative part for you, where it's just kind of like getting a task done versus like the creativity is like you interviewing people. So it's kind of like the behind the scenes like grind, like I got to do this.
This
So,
feels natural.
Yeah,
it
of
wasn't
course.
natural at the
I'm
beginning,
sure.
and I still suck at it, you know. But,
I feel like you're doing a
but I'm
great
getting
job.
better, right? After 218 episodes or however many it's been. I really do love this. So like, do you feel that same sort of passion towards putting paint on canvas or putting ink in skin, or is it like, is it a struggle? Because there's days where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like last night I was questioning it after recording and like trying to pack up the studio. I was like, God, what am I doing, dude? Like, this is self-inflicted pain. It's like the 5K.
Yeah. I had this conversation. Well, I've had it with like
And I'm really happy that I'm sitting here, by the way. So
No, I've had this conversation with multiple people. Sometimes they're creatives and sometimes they're not. And creatives always get it, but the non-creatives, it's hard to explain. Like one of the reasons I don't paint that often is because tattooing is my job and I am forced to be creative all the time for other people or for my job. Like it is a job. When people are like, oh, I love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I'm like, that's a lie. You're still working. It's still work. It's still stressful. Like fortunate, love it, great. Like choose this over, you know, maybe a desk job, but still it is work and there are stresses. And also like the pressure of being creative all the time is very taxing. So for me, like, because I have to, and I draw everything I tattoo. So I draw everything. So on my days off, I'm drawing for appointments and then I'm tattooing. And then when I like have an actual free day, which is pretty rare, I'm like, the last thing I want to do is paint. I want to break from it. Like I'm like creatively taxed. I have nothing left in the tank. So it's really hard for me to want to put more effort into creating art when it's what I do 90% of the time. So I think that's like a thing a lot of people don't see. They're like, oh, you're so lucky. It must be relaxing. I'm like, when I paint, it is not relaxing. I'm frustrated and angry. Like I am.
Are you listening to the death metal or something?
No, I'm just like sometimes it's fine, but there's other times where I'm like, you suck. And I'm just like upset and like nothing's working the way I want. And like, I'm like, but because I've, again, high standards. So I'm like, know what it should look like. And if there's a bad day, I'm like, this is not relaxing. I'm miserable and upset and I want to burn this canvas, which I've done. So
really?
Oh yeah. I'll throw stuff away. I'll destroy it. I'll paint over it. I love posting those videos because people lose their minds. I am not attached to most of my art.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I just.
You are one of my favorite Instagram follows. Like, just your wittiness is so good. Like, I think the post that you did the other night from dinner where you're like picking your teeth with a blade, and then you're like, this meeting could have been a knife fight or something like that. I was like, that's so fucking clever, right? Like, I love that.
Thank you.
I love that side of you. So don't ever stop that.
Oh yeah, I'm a little.
Have you ever heard the story of Van Gogh? Like,
Which one?
well, yeah, there's so many, but he got commissioned for like a gallery or something, right? So he got commissioned for his work, and it was supposed to be like 13 pieces or something. So he did these 13 pieces. They put him in the gallery, and I think I might have read this in Stephen Pressfield. And he literally, like the opening day, went in with a knife and just cut them all in half because he hated them all or something like that.
I
like,
empathize.
and spent like 2 years,
Yeah.
Creating these or whatever. So,
well, no one liked his art when he was living anyways. Right. So there's a lot of pressure for him. Like, he didn't have any famous paintings until way after his death. So, yeah.
It's crazy how death can create fame sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, especially with art, especially like older artists. Like that's like very commonplace for like I love art history and Renaissance art. It's my favorite. But like even like with Van Gogh, I went to a art museum in Boston recently where they had like a little Van Gogh exhibit. It was very small, but it had a lot of like interesting tidbits about his paintings and like the history and what he was doing. I'm like, oh yeah, no one ever bought one of his paintings while he was alive.
It's crazy, right? And he just kept creating.
Yeah, but like, and his style was weird. Like when he had
it's so crazy.
Yeah, just very.
Like I'm not a fan, but it's not like something I would hang on my wall.
I appreciate what he was doing, like in the moment. I don't really love his artwork. Like I wouldn't. I mean, if someone gave me one, I'd take it.
Right. I'd sell that bitch and buy a boat.
I wouldn't buy a piece of exactly. But yeah, like his artwork is it doesn't speak to me. It's not like if someone gave me a Rembrandt, I would die. Like I just obsessed with him. Of course. Yeah. But Van Gogh, I'm like, but I appreciate like the history of it, art history of it. But yeah.
Who were some of your mentors in art? Because I look at this Western culture that you
mentors, like people?
Yeah, I guess, or like artists that you looked up to or aspired to be, or is that not even in your brain?
No, I mean, for tattooing, I think it's a little easier for me because drawing for tattoos is very different. You can't it's not a piece of paper. There are a lot of limitations. And so drawing a tattoo, like there's a right way to do it. I feel like art, sometimes there's no limitations. There's no right way to create a painting, right? But for tattooing, there's a right way to do things.
Because you're almost thinking about it 3-dimensionally, where it's going to fit the body.
Yeah, but also longevity. Like skin ages and it changes, and for ink is always liquid in the skin. It's going to age with the skin. It's so you have to really think about like if you care as an artist for longevity for the person you're tattooing, there are limitations, but also like style too. You can't tattoo anything you want. Like some things just won't work in a tattoo. So when I was like learning how to draw for tattoos, you learn different styles, like all different traditional or all these different styles and like figuring out your own. Alphonse Mucha he's like an incredible artist. He's actually from the Czechoslovakia. I went to a couple of his museums in Prague, which was incredible.
Wow.
But he does a style of art that I think really inspires a lot of neo-traditional tattooers. It's very... I'm like blanking on the word.
You got to enlighten me on neo-traditional.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. Okay. It's like there's a lot of different versions of it, but essentially how I explain it is that it's a mix. I think how it originally started was like a mix of traditional tattoos, which would be like flash tattoos, Sailor Jerry. Those are always the easiest way for me to describe what a traditional tattoo is, and then realism. Which has like, it's kind of like a mix of the two. So there's usually outlines. So realism doesn't have any outlines, right? Like if you take a photograph of someone, there's no hard outline around them. A neo-traditional tattoo will still have hard outlines and a lot of times realistic shading mixed in there. That's how I do it. But it's I like it because I feel like it holds up really well over time, the mixture of the two. So it's hard to explain though, because
No, I totally get that. You explained
yeah,
it
okay.
perfectly.
I feel like if you can see a photo,
if
you're
you
like,
spend enough time in a tattoo parlor, I guess.
I know, but also like there's different types of it. Like I've seen artists in like different parts of Europe, and they're neo-traditional, or even Australia. There's an artist I follow in Australia. Her work is neo-traditional. It does not look like my work at all. So it's just like, but it's still the same style.
Right. So how many years have you been at the tattoo game now?
I mean, I started my apprenticeship. I always say like December 2010 technically is when I started my apprenticeship, and I didn't start charging to tattoo until January 2013.
Wow.
Would have been when I first started charging
10
for
years?
tattoos
11 years?
professionally.
Wow.
I would say professionally, yes.
Okay.
But I've been in the tattoo studio as a apprentice, etc. since we round up January 2011.
Okay.
A long time.
And now your practice is pretty much private, right?
Oh yeah, it's only appointment only, private studio.
Wow.
Very fortunate for that.
So I had mentioned like, oh, it'd be cool to get tattooed by you. And you were like, you better book something way out for that, right?
I mean,
so like how far are your books out right now?
So I only book 3-4 months out at a time. I've done longer. I've done like a year and a half. I did a year, 6 months. And like over the years, I just realized like the long period of booking out doesn't work for me. There's no freedom. Like if you can't get sick, you can't decide to go to like a last minute event or a trip or whatever because people are waiting a year to get tattooed by you, and you can't just move them because then you're moving them another year. And I hated that. So now I do like 3-4 months, and I feel like that works out great. I can kind of plan like my trips in my life and other events I have going on. And then if I need to reschedule someone, then waiting a month or two is not that big of a deal versus a year. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so 3-4 months is my sweet spot.
Okay,
now.
so do you just open the books and then close them, and
Yeah.
like it's almost like you got to get in
Yeah.
while you can, right?
Yeah, I usually like say like my books are open, and I have people fill out like I have a booking form on my website, and then choose the projects that I'm lucky that I get to pick and choose projects that I want to do. And then once it gets closer to the end of that like 3 month, I'll open them again for people. So, I mean, even if you don't get in on that round, like the next 2 months, you'll have another chance. So it's really not hard. Like people I thought it'd be really hard to get in. I'm like, as long as you have a cool idea, it's not that hard.
If it's something I want to do, right?
Cool.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. What do you do art-wise? I mean, other than painting, outside of it, to make is tattooing paying?
It's the only thing that makes me money.
Okay.
It's my only thing that has ever made me money. Right. So like with Instagram or all the things, like I'm like, getting paid like, I don't know, from a company, like, hey, we'll give you free product or pay you a couple $100 a month is not paying my bills. So the only thing that has ever consistently made me money since I started tattooing is tattooing. Like I sell my paintings when I can, but it's not supporting my life. Like, so tattooing's the only thing that does that.
Well, it's amazing what you built.
Thank you.
Still art. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
I have a very similar thing. Like I can't say no. Like my background is rock and roll production.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've done that since I was like 18, like just kind of fell into it in one form of fashion or another up until a couple weeks ago. No, I'm still doing it. Like I still like in the next couple weeks, I have to go do some rock band stuff, right?
That's neat though.
I love it. It's been an incredible career. It was great when you're a single young man and traveling all over the world and going on somebody else's dime, and it's very fast paced. Like you're in a different city pretty much every night, and your days off are truly days off, and you work hard, and the people you're around are cool. They're all like-minded for the most part, assholes, fucked up humor. And I say that in the best way, but like, it's hard. I can't leave it.
Oh yeah.
I can't leave it because I do still kind of enjoy it. Right. Mm-hmm. But it also, it helps me do what I want to do creatively outside of it. Like I just don't have to do it all the time.
Yeah, the freedom of something like that is really hard to change course. Mm-hmm. I feel that way about tattooing. Like there's times where I'm like, I think I would like to not do something else, but maybe, you know? And, but I'm like, oh, I don't know what else is going to allow me to go chase like all my other passions or hobbies or get to travel and do as much as I like to do. Like, oh, don't know what else I can do with that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it too. It's like, I can't say no to it because it pays the mortgage and I get to have this freedom and do that. And now I'm here recording with you. So it's really cool. And, I'm super fortunate.
Yeah, it's
but
amazing.
I still complain about it.
Yeah, of course. Don't we all?
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, right? Like you can't always be happy, I guess, right?
It's a job.
Yeah, it's a job.
At the end of the day, it's still a job. There's always, again, like there's always going to be stressors and parts of it that are maybe less than desirable, but if you're like, you know, more good than bad, that's the goal.
Yeah, and I think some people like maybe look at it from the outside and they just think like, oh, it must be so nice to do that, but they don't know what else goes on.
I love the must be nice people. They're my favorite people.
Yeah, I get those comments too.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what, all the freaking like sleepless nights and hard work and no social life for years to build something? Okay, yeah, it must be nice.
Right.
While you're sitting at home complaining.
Yeah. So getting into tattooing and then having it for a career for this long, what advice would you drop to somebody that, because there's so many aspiring artists out there that are working, like what's the best way to approach getting to a point where you're at, where you're booked out?
I'm a traditionalist when it comes to, well, anything in life, but especially with the tattoo industry, it has become very different since COVID. 2020 really kind of changed things, maybe for the worse for the industry. A lot of people started teaching themselves how to tattoo and realized that there is like the artists are getting better and they're realizing that they're worth money and they're able to charge more and get paid what they deserve. But people on the outside see that must be nice. I can just buy a machine and learn how to tattoo and charge $3,000 a day and tell people online that I'm worth it, which is I hate that. So I'm a traditionalist. I think if you want to learn a trade, you should pay your dues and do it the right way. So I always tell people, I'm like, if you actually care about getting into tattooing or anything, like get an actual apprenticeship, find a good artist or a good shop that and like take them a portfolio, show them your work, show them that you're willing and eager and like have respect for the craft to learn things the right way. Like I feel really blessed that I did things the right way and I learned like all of the things that you should learn. It's like a respect thing for me. So respecting like the traditions and where it came from and how it's evolved and how fortunate we are now. Yeah, the culture too. It's gotten very polluted lately. So I'm always like, if you want to learn something the right way, you got to do things the right way, which is the hard way. You want an easy way out, like most likely you aren't going to last very long. That's just how I feel in anything. Like you want the easy way out, the easy route. You're probably going to do it for a short amount of time and then you're not going to get what you thought you were getting out of it. But if you pay your dues and you do the hard work, like it's hard work. Tattooing is a hard job. And it's like, even artistically, like skin is a weird medium. It's unforgiving. It's very difficult. I've met incredible painters, like amazing oil painters who started tattooing and learned from some of the best tattooers in the industry. Garbage tattooers, can't do it, couldn't hang, went back to painting and doing other stuff. It's just because you're good at drawing or good at painting doesn't mean you'll be a good tattooer. And the industry is just saturated with incredible artists now. So you have to really be able to kind of set yourself apart from other people. So yeah, get an apprenticeship, learn from a bunch of good artists, and draw and work your ass off. Like that's what I would recommend.
Anything, right?
Like anything.
Work hard at it.
Yeah, work really hard. And like if it's uncomfortable and you don't like it for a while because it's hard, like good. Like it's not supposed to be easy. Like anything worth having isn't easy. So work harder.
I agree. Yeah. No, it makes total sense to me. You got to grind.
Yeah.
You got to grind to get to where you're at. Like I get it with the podcast all the time. Like, oh, your guest list is amazing. I'm like, well,
yeah. Because you probably put in a lot of work and worked your ass off to like prove that people who should be on your podcast want to be.
And I've tried to make it at least have some sort of standard to it, right? Like not everybody's invited.
Yeah, that's great. I think exclusivity, I mean, it's like a business tactic, essentially.
Right.
You know, you don't always get to do that in the beginning, but eventually, if you work hard enough, that is the goal. Like, that's how it was with me when I first started tattooing. I had to do everything. That's just like, whatever came in, sure, I will do that for you. And then once you like get better and you create, like people.
But that's probably elevated your art as a tattoo artist, right? Like, because
I think it's,
then you,
like working in a street shop or with other artists, I think is the best thing you can do when you're learning, because it forces you like to adapt, to take in anything, to learn. And like, there's so many, you can learn from anyone. Like, so I'm always like, I would never have an apprentice because I work alone. Like, they're going to only learn from me. That's a terrible way to learn. You need to learn from a bunch of different people who all have different ways of teaching, and you're going to pick and choose what's going to work best for you, and you're going to be more well-rounded for it versus one person, one way in a like private studio. It's, no, you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm intrigued by tattoos. So we're going
It's
down the
okay.
tattoo road now.
I know.
When you're pitched an idea for a tattoo, somebody comes to you and says, I want this sleeve or this tattoo because it means this to me. What's the best way to present it to an artist, I guess? Because like there's so many crazy things out there. Have you seen this app that like creates tattoo art or something? It's like an AI generated thing that you talk into it and then it spits out your sleeve or whatever.
I'm
right?
sure
like,
it's trash.
Yeah.
I hate AI art. It's stealing art from other people. Like, people don't realize that's what AI does. It can't create an original image. I mean, can't. It also has limitations where it's not supposed to steal, but it does. Like, there was like a trend with Studio Ghibli where AI was literally stealing Studio Ghibli's art and creating it for people, like on ChatGPT or whatever. Like, that's theft.
Yeah.
But tattoos.
Well, I mean, it's stealing people's voices too.
Yeah,
like,
but it's like picking and choosing from art on the internet. So like, and changing it, but it is not creating original art. Get art from an artist, not a computer. But I always like the way I started getting tattooed is the same way I appreciate people trying to get tattooed by me is find an artist whose work speaks to you first. Like, not all artists are equal. I always say, like, you're not going to go to a dentist to get your nose job. Like, it doesn't really make sense to think, like, especially nowadays.
something that you would hang on your wall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or just like,
But more intimate.
Yeah, but like you just look at like Instagram is a great place. It's most people's digital portfolios at this point.
It's amazing.
It's mine. But like there's usually a cohesion of work. Like you can see like that they do something specific over and over again. And if that type of artwork speaks to you, then I would email them and be like, hey, like, I love your work. Like, this is my concept, but like, you're getting their style. So you already know that you're going to like the style that it's created in. And then I love like a loose concept. Like, that's what I've done for all my pieces. It was like, I love your work. I want you to create whatever you want. Like, here are things that I like, you know, like, or the direction I'm wondering.
Like a blank canvas, right? Like
I mean, not like for I've had people where like, oh, I want, I don't know, like a witch, for example. Like, I want a witch, and like this is I don't know. Sometimes they give reasons. Like, I want a witch. Like, I've always loved like dark academia or whatever, and I would love for there to be like a little toad or something. Like, I'm like, cool, that's awesome. And then in my head, I already have like an image in my mind of like what I want to create. But it gives you a lot of creative freedom to design your art versus trying to like, I don't know. I can't see in your head.
That's probably how you get the best
It is.
artwork on yourself too.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Like, so that's why I'm like, find the artist first, find the artwork you like, and then take a concept to them and then have them create something original and wonderful for you. It's the best way to do things. They're going to love it more. You're going to love it more, and you're going to get something great versus, I can't see in your head. So if you try to like pack too many things in it, or sometimes people ask for stuff that's like very not in my wheelhouse. And I'm like, did you look at my art? Because this is very different. Or sending me someone else's art. I'm always like, you should get tattooed by them. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But I'm like, you clearly like their work. You should go to them, not me. Like, yeah. So that's why I'm like, you already know what you like. It's not me.
You're asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. It's I'm just trying to think of the ones that I've got. It's just been kind of like creative freedom, and I don't
Yeah.
have anything like stellar.
Yeah.
Like all my tattoos are like 20 years old by now. I haven't gotten tattooed recently, and it's not that I don't want to get more. It's just like overwhelming to me now.
Absolutely.
Like there's so many artists. And
Absolutely.
so it's the level of tattooing, and maybe it's just because it's in your face. Like when I was getting tattoos,
No,
like you had
it's
to,
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it better?
Oh, it's so much better.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I said it's like super saturated with incredible artists all over the world. Like every state, I think, has phenomenal artists, and some
it's
probably
crazy.
don't have Instagrams. Some do, but the bar has been drastically raised for the quality of tattoos out there.
Did you see that happen in real time? Or have you seen
It's
that?
like it was slow roll. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
not slow, but now I like look back. I mean, it's since I've been looking, when I looked at tattoo magazines, I used to go to Barnes and Noble and read tattoo magazines, which don't really exist anymore. And
There's no more Ink magazine?
I mean, they still exist.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not like people don't really care. They just go
Right.
online. So, but I remember looking at the tattoos and being like, holy cow, like how could someone create this? And then every year it was more of that and then more of that and more of that. And I'm like, so maybe it's not, it just keeps getting better. I don't know if there's like a roof or a cap I feel like there has to be. But who knows? People
I
are.
don't think so.
Yeah,
It's art, right?
Skin,
At the end,
skin
yeah.
can only
Sure.
take it so far. But I'm like, I don't know. It is incredible though. But I think more and more there's more good artists than there ever have been. That's for sure.
What's the wildest thing you've seen happen? Like I've seen some of these like glow in the dark tattoos and
Poison.
Just,
Yeah,
Poison?
literal poison.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, would you eat a glow stick?
fuck no.
Would you put it in your skin? Fucking no.
Yeah.
The fact that people do this, I'm like, oh, even like
Is that what they're using?
I'm essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, like the glow in the dark and the UV, like it's literal poison. Like that is
Sure.
stuff that you
No, it
shouldn't be
makes
putting
sense.
in your skin. Like that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like not good. People do it.
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah. I always think I'm like that just, I mean, even like tattoo ink, like there is studies that it may not be the most healthy for you. Like even like the best inks, like it's still creating an immune response when you get tattooed. Sometimes there's trace heavy metals in tattoo inks, even if it's, or vegan, technically metal is vegan. So if there's trace metals in there for pigments or however it's made, like maybe not super, super healthy. I think it's fine. Like, but I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, but the more crazy stuff you're putting in like your
But
skin.
it's also not like standing in a parking lot breathing in exhaust
Yeah,
fumes
exactly.
either, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like,
yeah. But when I'm like,
sometimes I look at
escalate it
this
with the
shit,
glow in the
yeah.
dark shit. I'm like,
Right.
no, don't.
that
You wouldn't
kinda
if you're
makes
not
sense.
willing. Like I mean, you could probably drink ink and you'd probably be fine. Maybe not great for you, but I'm like, I'm not gonna drink a glow stick. That sounds terrible.
Well, if you drink enough cyanide,
Yeah.
like or the right amount, you can keep drinking it,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't,
Yeah.
it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Well, I mean, over time,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
But,
But I don't
but
know.
yeah, there's levels to everything, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and what you can take and what the human body can take. But
I mean,
there's a pretty good track record with tattoos that people have lived a really long time.
no,
with
yeah,
a lot
I
of
think they're
tattoos.
fine for them. I mean, I had a bad immune response with getting tattooed, but I mean, after many years of it, and but that's like pretty. I mean, sometimes people are allergic to ink or whatever, but I mean, body autonomy. You want to do something, you can do it. You want to
Yeah.
drink bleach, go for it, bro. I don't care. I'm not
wanna
gonna.
eat
I'm not
Tide
gonna
Pods?
serve it to you.
It's
Just
all
like
you.
I'm not gonna tattoo you with glow in the dark stuff. But
Right.
I mean, you want to, cool.
Yeah, let's get off the tattoo subject because we're burning up.
I
time
know,
here.
I
Yeah,
know.
this is awesome. But no, I love picking your brain about it because I'm truly like fascinated by it. So hopefully the listeners got something out of me
Hopefully.
asking a bunch of questions. Shooting. When did you get into that? And I think I can see your eyes light up right now. Like that's a passion, right?
Yeah.
And all the time you spend on the range.
Yeah. I mean, I've been around guns my whole life. I grew up on a farm, and my dad was a hunter. He never took me because he's not a very good father, but I wasn't allowed to go hunting, but I always wanted to. So always been around guns, and I loved them. And then after all of the domestic stuff, I really wanted to be more capable with a firearm. I feel like growing up in like the sticks, you go out to the desert and you can shoot stuff, doesn't make you good or smart about shooting. and I wanted to actually be like good at it. So when I moved to 2017, I moved to Nevada. And I had been wanting to get into competition shooting just because I saw it and I thought it looked really fun. And I met some people like really randomly, honestly. I was at like a pool party with another tattooer friend. And this girl was like randomly talking about shooting competitions. And I was like, I want to do that. And she's like, oh yeah, we like go out and practice if you want to come. And I was like, yes. And she's like, tomorrow. I'm like, yes. And I met a bunch of these guys who lived in Las Vegas who some of them are like some of the
like tactical
best.
Pistol type stuff?
It's not tactical. So like shooting, like the shooting competitions I do, it's USPSA is the main corporation that that I'll do these matches, and it's, I wouldn't say tactical because like you're not tactical, like you're not wearing vests, you're it's
kind
a
of
sport.
more like a move and shoot.
It's
sport,
it's a
right?
sport. So you're moving and shooting, doing like paper and steel targets.
Like the tactical games aren't tactical.
I guess they're wearing vests.
Looks cool.
It looks cool. But like,
I mean, I think it's cool what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like lifting and shooting.
I feel like tactics and tactical means like, I don't know, like CQB stuff. Like if you're in a building and you're like around barriers and you're like, I don't know, going after a threat, that seems tactical to me. That would be stuff that like people would train if they're in law enforcement or
like
the
SWAT,
military.
Yeah.
So when I was like shooting competitions, it's not really tactical.
Right.
It's a sport. It definitely, like, it has across the board, everyone I've ever talked to, it makes you a better shooter, whether you're in law enforcement or not. It's not like, it's not equal. There's definitely differences. No one's shooting back at you. Lots of, internet people like to say that. Like, oh, try to get someone shoot. I'm like, it's a sport, man. Like, but,
oh, like those guys picking you apart.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes people get like, oh, what if someone was shooting back at you? And I'm like, I wouldn't be out in the open. Like, like, I don't know what to tell you. But, it's incredible. I got really fortunate that I started shooting with amazing shooters, like really talented shooters. JJ Rakaza, who is now one of my like really good friends, is one of the best shooters in the world. Like he's won world titles many times. He's incredible and super kind. And I met people who worked at his gun range and then got to shoot and train with him.
These are the first guys you went out with?
Yes.
What the
yeah, I got lucky.
Okay, it was like meant to be.
I got so lucky. And even like the ammo company I work with now, like I met the owner while shooting matches in Nevada, in Las Vegas. There's a lot of really good shooters out there, honestly. Same as like Arizona and Phoenix. There's so many good, talented shooters. But yeah, I got lucky right off the bat. But also, they were like willing to help, and I was willing to learn. Like the first time I went shooting with them, I had like a little tiny Smith & Wesson like M&P, which is a subcompact. Just like, I hate that gun. It's like little concealed carry sub. I couldn't hit anything. Like we were like 10, 15 yards from little tiny steel targets, and I'm missing, shooting like crap. And I was like, well, I hate this feeling.
Right.
Like I thought I was going to be better.
That's horrible,
just,
right?
Dog shit. Like I think back.
That's how I feel about all handguns right now, because I'm great. I'm more accurate. I say this all the time, but I'm more accurate with my bow.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I put in the time with it.
That's
right?
all it is.
Like, I'm shooting at least 20 arrows a day minimum.
I was good with a rifle. Like I had shot rifles and shotguns, and rifles are so easy to
handguns are
aim.
hard.
They're hard. And I was like, well, I want to be better. So I was like, okay, if you guys are willing to teach me, like I'll come learn. And they offered, like, some of them offered, like my friend Marco, he's so sweet. But he offered me like his extra gun, like gear, because it's expensive. And he was like, yeah, if you want to borrow all of this stuff and learn how to shoot, like you can borrow all my extra stuff. Like so sweet and kind. And then I went and shot with them all the time. Like every weekend I was doing right into like fresh out the gates. Didn't know what I was doing. Shot a competition. I was like, I guess the best way to learn is to do. But I was like, I want to be better at this.
Wolves,
yeah. And I was like, I suck. I want to get better. All these people are really good. And it just forced me to like push myself. So the first couple years of living in Vegas, that's all I did was shoot. If I wasn't tattooing, I was shooting. And I felt like I was getting pretty good for a while. And then I moved to Missouri, and there's no shooting there. There's no competition.
Just because of there's just not.
Dude,
it's kind of like a desert sport almost. A little bit, huh?
No, there's shooting in so many states.
Is there?
Yeah, Florida, the South. Like I
Okay.
thought the Midwest, because I thought it would be full of people. I don't know, like rednecks shooting, farmers. They didn't have any outdoor ranges. They had like all of the competitions were like a couple hours drive away, and it was like once every month or something. So I'm like, well, I have like nowhere to practice and then nowhere to compete. So I just like wasn't shooting very much until I moved back out west. And that was one of my main goals when I chose someplace to live, was like, I want to start shooting again. Like I love it and it makes me really happy and I want to get better again. And so that's why I moved to Phoenix. There's so many good shooters here and there's matches all the time. So
That's incredible.
yeah.
Where's that taking you? Where are you at with that right now? Is that something that you're pursuing? Like, because don't you have a deal with Staccato or something?
I did. So I worked
Okay.
with Staccato for like a year. I'm shooting their gun. So I'm not on like their shooting team or anything, but I
Okay.
worked with them for like a year. I love their guns and I shoot their XL for competition and I love that gun. I'm actually shooting a match in Texas this weekend. It's a pretty big match. We'll see how I do because I've not been practicing as much as I should.
Do you dry fire it?
Yeah, I dry fire.
I want to dive into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
So like, are you able to dry fire in here or like at home?
Yeah,
or
dry fire all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I try to be more, I'm trying lately too to be more consistent about dry firing because it's honestly way more beneficial than even like than shooting live rounds. Like there's a lot of people that say that. When we were at that course recently, we were talking about that. We were talking about dry firing and shared like an anecdote about someone I had met who for a year, he did not shoot live rounds and dry fired like every day and went and shot like a big match and like smoked everyone.
Really?
Yeah, and it's fundamentals and muscle memory. Like you get it, like grip, sights, trigger press are like the three things like people mess up, and that's like you can do all of that without firing live
Sure.
ammunition. And most
Do
of the
you have
people,
like a sequence? I'm sorry.
no, you're
I
good.
just
Keep going.
interrupt you. Do you have like a sequence or a mantra or something? Because I do a trigger press with archery. Like my shot sequence is almost like a mantra, and the training that I've gotten from Tom Klum, shout out to him, like amazing archery coach. He basically broke down the way I used to shoot a bow and made me start all over basically kind of from scratch and went through a bunch of releases and all that sort of stuff. So I'm shooting from like back tension. Like I'm never pressing a trigger. It's like a surprise release just built on back tension and elbow placement and the bow breaking and going off.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it eliminates the variabilities of human mistake tremendously to the point where it's got me so much more accurate and also like shooting under pressure because like you've hunted archery. Like it's a different thing when you're drawn on a
So
bull
much
that's
different.
like coming in or cows running through trees or something like that. Like your adrenaline is at a 7. You probably haven't shot your bow in like 7 or 8 days. So like to successfully like punch a trigger and have everything happen the same way.
Yeah.
I think that's where like the surprise comes in, but it's very similar to like a gun trigger press, I think, isn't it? Like it's not a squeeze. It's like a slow squeeze almost,
Yeah.
but that's basically what I'm doing through.
Depends on the
tension.
trigger.
Okay.
That also makes a difference. Like
Gotcha.
my concealed carry trigger versus my competition trigger, the weight.
Okay,
like
you're a real nerd
it's
now,
very-
right?
Well, it is different. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like how anytime I've learned and like how we've been teaching it is like, well, I was taught like a fun way is like, there's always a wall, like your trigger has a wall, like, so you can pull back slowly and you'll find that wall, you can feel it before you actually pull the trigger all the way where it goes off. Like there's a wall. And I had someone teach me and I always like think about it where he's like, find the little Mexican on the wall. And I think about that all the time. And I'm like, where you can like, I don't know, like visualize it almost like this. And it's like in my head, he's like a stick figure. He's not even like a real person. It's like a little guy with a sombrero, like sitting on the wall. And I'm like
Oh,
trying
so
to
you're
find him.
basically, because in archery you hit a wall.
There's a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try to teach that because you don't want people like
This is how
slapping
much
or
I know about
pulling.
pistols.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, it's the same with a rifle. Like, I don't know if you shot a hunting rifle, you shoot. Yeah.
Not honestly.
Yeah, but
in,
it's
like,
the same. Like, you're not like smacking the trigger. Like, you're being like slow and controlled and like squeezing and feeling that wall break. That's essentially what you want on a pistol too. And then like a slow, like the reset. You don't have to completely let your finger off the trigger. You can like keep it on there and feel that little reset and then keep going. So
you're just staying on the wall then.
Yeah, like slowly let go. Yeah, for speed. And then also just because like if you jerk your trigger, like people do it all the time. I still do it all the time. But you jerk your trigger and that's when you feel like you'll drop rounds in the target or whatever, or it'll go off. Like that's all your trigger control is when you're like jerking or being crazy with it. So, but you can fix a lot of that in dry fire for sure. You just muscle memory.
It's something that I want to do this year. It's like a goal of mine.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by so many people that are former SWAT or teach it or you guys or
yeah. It's pretty, I mean, dry fire is easy. You can do it at home, right? Because you don't have like, you can use sim rounds or just empty mags. I just use empty mags. And I have like these I use like little USPSA targets for dry fire. They're like mini targets. And I like tape them to the wall and work on
just for visualization?
Yeah, just to have some place to actually, like a constant place to aim.
Gotcha.
If you're doing it for competition, like if you're doing it for home defense, it's very different. I would say it would be different.
Okay.
I mean, you could still do it standing, but I think like clearing your house would be very different than doing like a competition run.
Yeah.
But like
especially
adding
depending on where people are at in your home, if you have kids or family or something.
Yeah. But even if you're just like taking it out of the holster, like just doing that, like I feel like that's where a lot of mistakes come from is like your grip out of the holster, whether it's in the waistband, outside of the waistband. A sloppy grip is gonna ruin everything over everything else. Like a sloppy grip, and like I feel like that is something you can do at home. Easy, like just dry firing, just in and out of your holster, like getting a good purchase, feeling your grip, like making sure it's consistent and like getting that every time to the point where it's just, consistency. I think that's like my thing too, like grip. Anytime I have a bad run at a match, I'm like, well, my grip was crap coming out of the holster. It was like loose or weird and then everything was off after that point. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to correlate it to archery because I just
it's
don't
so different.
know. Yeah,
it's different. It's not even at all.
There are similarities, like where my hand placement is on my
hand
riser
placement,
and my bow grip. I mean, that's important.
Yeah. I like sights too. Like if your sights are off while you're aiming at a target, you're not going to hit where you're supposed to. If you smack your trigger on your bow, your arrow's going to shoot off the wrong way. Like that's the same for a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much correlation is there between like the skills that you're learning or practicing in competition shooting to like some of the real life scenario stuff that you guys are doing like with war parties?
It's very different.
Very different.
Yeah, Jeremiah talks about this a lot because he's like,
I love his honesty.
A lot of people have a hard time being able to like separate like the two, like the sport and then like real life. I mean, it is different. Like when I shoot from concealed, it's so much harder and there's so many more steps than if I'm shooting a competition, right?
Sure.
So it's definitely different. I do think it just being able to manipulate a firearm, especially a pistol in competition, and then footwork and like being able to get like your gun up quick, sights, like being able to move and kind of like plan ahead, I think makes you a little bit more aware and capable if something real world was to happen.
Reaction
That's
times.
That's how I would equate it. Like it's not a real world situation, but I think it overall makes you more capable of handling a firearm and manipulating it, and especially in like an adrenaline situation, like because there's a lot of adrenaline, you get stressed out, like so I think that helps, but it's definitely not preparing you for a real world situation. That would be totally different. Jeremiah likes to say that all the time.
Yeah. He's great at that. I've gotten so much amazing advice from him. Like every time he's in, I'm doing something new.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Like, he's awesome. So when you go to these competitions, just because I don't know much about it, I haven't followed it, like how are they scoring you? Is it it's on time and target?
Time and accuracy.
Okay.
So you have like paper targets, which are A, C, D zones, and A zone is obviously what you want. You want to get it within the A zone.
Are they human targets? Typically like a human outline?
Yeah, sometimes they're silhouette. So like they have like the little head box and then it's like a square target, which would be a silhouette, and then other times it's like an IPSC target is what it's called, which is another organization. It's a little bit different, and the way the A zones and everything are set up are a little different. But paper targets, and then you have steel targets, so you have to. Score steel is pretty much hitting or making it fall. But yeah, it's time and then accuracy. So you get penalized for like misses. You have like no shoot targets. So if you hit one of those, it's also a penalty, and that adds time to your overall run, essentially.
Oh, so they'll put up like a red target or
it's
something.
White usually.
White.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't shoot the white guys. Only the brown.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, all the cops are like, yes.
That's hilarious. So then how do they add up? Do you get like a certain amount of rounds, or is there like?
Yeah, so it depends on the
time and
state.
then you're done,
Yeah,
or you get head to head, or
no? Yeah, so most of the time you have a squad, so it'll be like a group of you. Let's say it's like 10 people in your squad, all different divisions, different classes, different capabilities. It doesn't really matter. And you'll have a stage. Some of the matches, they have multiple stages. Usually, like a local match will have 4 or 5 stages, all set up differently. And then you have an RO, a range officer, who usually a couple of them, but they will start. There's a timer, so you have to like make ready, safe, whatever. Your gun's ready, either loaded or unloaded. There's different rules for how you start: hands up, hands down. And then once they, or once you're ready and they start the timer, you hear your beep, and then you shoot all of your targets, however you want. It depends on like how the stage is set up. And
does the course change?
All of them are different every time. Like, yeah, all set up different amount of targets, different amount of rounds, different. Most of the time it's like 2 shots on paper, and then steel is to fall or hit. But sometimes it changes. Sometimes they're like 3 rounds on paper, or 1 round this first time and then 2 the next, or you have par time, so you only get 2 minutes to shoot everything, and sometimes you don't, and so every like target you leave up is a penalty added to your time. So there's just a ton of different ways you can have a stage. But yeah, it's like they tell you how many rounds you'll need if you don't have any misses, but if you miss a target, you should make it up, hopefully, or if you don't, then you get penalized. Sometimes you have where you can only have a certain amount of rounds, so if you miss, you can't make it up. There's so many different rules. Yeah.
So is it typically 1 shot per target?
2 shots on paper.
Okay, so it's like a double tap.
Yeah.
Kind of sequence going through the course? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for paper. And then, there's like, partial targets, full targets, and then usually...
Do they do them like 45 and stuff? Because like some of the pistol courses I've been to, like the targets will 45 and...
Yeah, sometimes I'll have them like, low targets that are like laying down or like around partitions. So you have to or like ports you have to shoot through. There's I've shot a bunch of those, which I don't love.
Is it always on flat ground, or do they do
sometimes you have to run up like a truck or a ladder, or start on a jet ski. I've had that happen. Yeah,
Whoa.
There's like all
Tell
sorts.
me about that.
Yeah.
You started on a jet ski with a loaded weapon?
Yeah, it was like
this is awesome.
stationary. It was in like I've had motorcycle and a jet ski.
But like you were on the water,
you have to
like
sit.
moving?
No,
Okay.
just on. It's on ground.
Okay.
It's always on ground, but like a disabled motorcycle or a jet.
Something else. I'm envisioning Navy
No, it's
SEAL
not like
shit.
cowboy freaking Coast Guard shooting at stuff. No, It's like weird starting positions where maybe you're like seated on one time I was like I've done a motorcycle and a jet ski for different matches where you're like seated. And you can like stand up and then shoot all the targets from there. It's really annoying. And it also makes it hard for short people sometimes. That's like a thing. But yeah, sometimes like I've had it where you like run up something, run up a truck, or those are pretty rare. Most of like the local normal matches, it's just paper and steel targets and maybe like some walls.
Okay.
So some of the bigger matches, they get a little creative with the stages.
What is like the pinnacle of that sport?
We have World Shoot. So they have Worlds, which I it's not every year. I think it's I'm honestly not sure because I have zero desire to try to make it there anytime soon, if ever. You have to be like the best in the world. You have to qualify to get there. So you have like big area matches, and there's like lots of matches that are like you have to qualify for, but World Shoot would be the biggest one.
Okay.
So you have to shoot a certain amount of matches and get a certain amount of points and qualify, and then they have to invite you, and then you have to be able to pay to go. Like this next one, I think, is in South Africa. I think it's coming up like maybe this fall. There's a World Shoot in South Africa. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it's just like
It's probably dependent by country too on what
yeah.
they allow firearms wise.
No, there's an exemption.
Oh, okay.
Like
because
for the
it's for
Philippines,
sport.
guns are illegal. So I
Right.
shot a match in the Philippines.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and they make
How
an
was that?
exception. I mean, not good for me. I did not do
But the trip's amazing, right?
yeah,
Like,
it was cool. Yeah. So they make an exception though. So you have to have like a form that says what you're going for. And then you do all the crazy like TSA stuff with like your guns and them
must be a
checking them
pain
all the
in the
time.
ass, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work. I remember it was very stressful because it was my first time shooting a big match like that, and then a match in another country. So it was very stressful. But yeah, they make exemptions. But you can't like keep your guns with you. Like they lock them. Like even if you go to a hotel, they know that you're going to be there, and they will lock your guns in like their security room. Like you
Okay.
can't keep them in your room with you. So yeah.
We're pretty fortunate in the United States.
yeah,
Very fortunate.
except for California.
Yeah. Well, Colorado's turning that
Oh,
way,
they
too,
just
with-
passed that fun new bill.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, don't know how that's going to
No,
work.
I have no idea. It's going to kill small.
All gun stores. They're
It's
not
kill
going to be able
everybody but like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop. and,
because
like,
they're
those big-
going to sell other
yeah.
stuff besides firearms. But I'm like, the revenue and the tax money that comes from all of the gun stores in
Yeah.
Colorado, like,
and then also what they're throwing on top of like CPW's
yeah,
responsibility. And so now not only is Colorado Wildlife dealing now with parks, now they're going to be dealing with these gun classes or whatever the magazine
they
checks
are
or
not
fucking whatever.
capable. They don't have the
crazy.
resources or the
Yeah.
funding or anything to do that, to handle that.
It's stupid. And I don't know much about it. And I normally don't get involved with politics all that much on here unless it pertains to wildlife.
Yeah.
But now like it's starting to cross over. It's
It
like
is.
bleeding like
Especially Colorado. It's so bad with all
It's
of
really
their the freaking wolves and
Yeah.
all of the stuff they're doing. It's I hate Denver, but it's like that big huge city, all the voters don't know what they're voting on, and then it's affecting like rural communities and farmers and ranchers and
Yep.
and a lot of people don't realize like all of the money that goes into all the parks and like recreational areas aren't coming from hikers, it's coming from hunters.
Yep.
And I hate that is like a misconception.
Yeah, plus it kills, I think there's a whole nother side of that industry with just outfitters and guides
Yeah.
and that whole side of that industry that a lot of those ranches lease their land to hunting to
Yeah.
help pay because maybe they didn't yield enough
Yeah,
hay
absolutely.
or whatever, right? Like it's cutting revenue from so many different sources. I mean, there was a little glimmer of light with this ballot initiative 127 that didn't pass on the mountain lion hunting ban. And that was something that I dove into with Cody heavily on the last one because, his bull riding career, even though it was one that any bull rider would dream of, like he beat arguably the best guys in the world in 2009 for a world championship at the PBR. Mm-hmm. But just like the military or guys that like Jeremiah that have operated, at a high level and they get this operator syndrome, once they leave that, he replaced that void with being a houndsman and having dogs around him.
Oh, wow.
And treeing lions and hunting lions. And he kind of explained like the difference between, it's a great episode. You'll have to go listen to it. But what hunting was to him, it wasn't pulling the trigger on a cat. Hunting was like everything that leads up to that point, to the point where he's like, I'll do that 30 times before I decide to like pull the trigger. Right? Like, cause that's what I love. And that's what I love to do is that whole aspect of it. So it was really cool. So it's like to take something away from somebody like that is using it as a void. And then not only that, like the game wardens and biologists are going to lion hunters and houndsmen to get real facts about what the populations are, what they're seeing. Like that's where all the data is coming from.
Yeah.
Is the cats that are taken. Like they take biological stuff from them, whether it's a tooth or whatever for DNA. Like it's so much deeper than just like, should cats die or not?
Ignorance of like where people like conservation and they don't actually talk to actual conservationists, and people don't like to equate hunters or guides or whatever outfitters as conservationalists, but they are. And they are the ones doing a lot of the research and helping and like getting all of that data to figure out, and they're seeing it firsthand, like the damage some of these predators are creating for like agriculture, ranchers, for other animals. But people don't want to talk about that. They're just like, oh no, it's cute. And like, I feel that way. I love animals. Like I think mountain lions are beautiful, but I also know the damage they can do if you don't population control. That's what we're seeing with like the wolves.
Yeah.
That people don't want to talk about that. They're just like, oh no, don't hurt it. And I'm like, well, you don't have to release more of them or create more of a problem to protect them. You also got to protect other stuff. Like it's not them alone. People are
you should listen to the experts, right?
Yeah.
Like you should listen to wildlife biologists. You should listen to, I mean, we employ these people with our tax dollars and hunting and fishing dollars and like it should be left up to them for what's best for the population. You would think. It's crazy. We beat the shit out of it. I don't want to go down this road with you anymore.
That's fair. So I'm excited to listen to that episode. And
no, it's really awesome because Cody's taken a seat because he's so passionate about it. He's taken a seat in advocating for it because of his platform that he has from bull riding, and he's still heavily involved with the PBR as a coach because now they do this whole like team aspect thing.
Yeah.
But he also started United Houndsmen of Colorado, which is an amazing organization just to kind of keep that alive. Because,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's amazing.
And if you've ever been around, if you haven't been around it, I encourage you to go on one.
Oh, I've been mountain lion hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
What was that like?
I mean, I threw up.
That's what I'm talking about. It's probably the most grueling, one of the most grueling things that I've done in my life.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my elk hunt was worse, but we went mountain lion hunting in Nevada, and had dogs, and we only got on one cat, and he just refused to get treed, so we chased him for a really, really long time, but did not get him. But yeah, that's the only time I've been on one, but it was really cool.
Were you guys like in the mountains?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you cut the tracks on snow or?
We had a little bit of snow, but the guy
it's
went
so
with,
hard without snow.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much harder. That's what he said too. Because there was had started to melt already, and there wasn't a lot, and so it was way harder to do it without snow. The fact that we even got on one was kind of like impressive, honestly. But yeah, smart cat.
They're so stealth.
Just knew that he was also like
So you've seen the dogs work firsthand. Like, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
okay.
That's fucking amazing. Like what those dogs do, what they know.
Yeah.
How they're just clued in and locked in, and how they work as a team and as a family. And it's not like they're just naturally doing it. It's like, it's what they're meant to do. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I love that whole aspect of it, to the point where I would I don't have any desire to hunt lions, but I would be a houndsman.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I would do it again, but it was like a really cool experience to be a part of. So yeah.
Are you still finding time to hunt with God, you got a lot of hobbies. Like
I know.
I see you scuba diving with sharks.
Free diving. I've never done scuba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't do scuba.
Okay.
I never have.
Really?
Yeah, not that. Okay. Yeah, I might one day.
I just assumed that.
Yeah,
that was
free diving.
Okay.
Yeah, just a breath in my lungs. That's it. Yeah, I love shark diving. It's honestly one of my favorite things that I do. I wish I did it more often. But I got a bull tag this last season, late season here in Arizona. So it was like my first year to be able to put in for resident tags, and I pulled a bull elk tag. And
how hard is that to get?
I don't think that unit is that hard because my fiance just pulled that same unit for this next season
Okay.
for a bull tag. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. We just did all of the freaking groundwork during my hunt because I didn't fill my tag, but we
Yeah.
got up on a few bulls. Just could not make it work.
I mean, the learning curve is crazy
Yeah.
on that, isn't it? Like just what you
honestly,
learn.
yeah, because I have I just started hunting over the the last few years, trying to really get into it, and trying to find people to help was really difficult. Jeremiah took me on my first bull elk hunt in Colorado.
That was an archery hunt, wasn't it?
Archery hunt.
So you
on
started
public land.
the hardest absolute fucking way you
dude.
could.
And that wasn't the first time I met him in person. And we drove up.
No shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is
Fucking
awesome.
spent a week
you got to
in
tell
the-
this whole story now. The podcast just got much longer, so I got to hear this.
Oh, it's so funny. So we'd met online through War Party movement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who found who first, but I found War Party, and then we started talking.
If you're not checking out the Mountainside podcast on YouTube, you absolutely should be. If you like the content that we create here and you want to help support the podcast, please take a moment, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that notification bell.
We had a little technical difficulty if you're listening or watching. That's why we went to a commercial break. So I don't know where we left off in the conversation, but your very first elk hunt was during archery season in Colorado.
Public land.
Was it OTC?
Yeah, over the counter.
Son of a bitch.
Out of state because I wasn't a resident, so it's expensive.
You just checked the hardest boxes
I'm
for
aware.
anybody to be successful
Yeah, sure.
in elk hunting.
Yeah.
I mean, you did have Jeremiah in your corner.
Yeah, that motherfucker's a terrible guide. Every time I've gone hunting with him, there's no animals. They disappear, and I'm like, I don't think you're good at this. Maybe it's you. No, but because I would think I was living in Missouri, and I had just started trying to get really back into trying to learn how to hunt, and no one would help me. No one was willing to take me out to help anyway. And I was like, well, it's really hard when you aren't from the area. You don't know what you're doing really yet, especially archery. I was just getting into archery for the first time. And I met Jeremiah online randomly, through War Party movement. And he was like, if you want to go on an elk hunt, I'll take you. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, you can come out to Colorado. We'll go. And if you want to do archery. And I was like, if you're serious, then yes, I'll come. Because no one is offering, I'll pay the money, I'll go because I want to go and I want to learn. And no one is offering me help. So he's like, cool, yeah, fly in Colorado. You can come meet my wife and my kids. And then we'll go out to the mountains and sleep in a tent for 5 days. So I'm meeting a stranger off the internet.
Right.
Flying to Colorado.
You couldn't have lucked out.
I know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's
you just
one of the
invited
reasons.
two strangers into your studio
yeah,
right now. That's what I was thinking. I
already had a good vibe.
I figured your fiance was going to be.
Yeah.
We know each other.
Honestly, the
though.
first time I met him was in another country. So I got a track record apparently.
Right.
Yeah. But so I flew into Colorado. Jeremiah gave me a list of all the stuff I need, brought my bow, and I met his wife who's amazing and I love. And I slept in his daughter's bunk bed with a slide and the princess pillows for one night. And then we drove up outside of Steamboat. To go hunt public land, hiked in 10 miles and with heavy packs and camped out in a tent that he said was a 2-person tent, but definitely freaking wasn't. Even his wife was like, are you sure it's the right tent? So it was a 1-person tent with Jeremiah, who's the gassiest person I've ever met in my life, guns hot, freaking farting on me all night long. And I'm like, I'm not going to complain. I'm just here.
Right.
So we hiked and there was no elk. We had a really cool camping trip with my bow essentially. We were bugling to other hunters. I'm like, sounds like maybe another cow calling. I'm like, I think it's only hunters. We saw multiple guides with their hunters, and they all were like, there's no elk. We haven't seen anything. Everyone's like, we got to go higher and further. And I think it was the second to last day we saw a bull maybe 250 yards away. Through this little, it was we were on a ridge, and and there's like a little like valley and then like another ridge of trees, and this like big bull is on the other side. And we like called to him, and he did not care, didn't lift his head, didn't give a shit, just like bachelor, just doing his thing. So we were like, okay, we'll try to like hike around. And I'm still new, so I'm like following. He's like, well, hike around and try to like cut him off. He's probably gonna like head this way. There was like some bear hunters there with their muzzle loaders. So we're like, we'll try to get.
You're going during muzzle loader.
Dude, yeah. It was like, but it was like a weird weather pattern. So, and like with all the hikers, and it was like right after COVID. So there was like a ton of like van people and hikers. So we think all the elk were just like pushed up and out. And so we're like, okay, so we'll hike around and like try to get up on him and maybe cut him off. But like in Colorado, like the slopes, they're not like straight. So there's like ridges where you can't really see, like it's like little paths and like a ridge. And we were in the trees, and he saw us before we did, and he just took off like a freaking freight train through these trees. It was so sad. And I was like, well, that was my last chance. Like, we saw one elk in like a week, and that was it.
You're pretty lucky, actually.
I guess, yeah. Well, like my rifle hunt this last year, I was like, if I had a bow, I might have had a better chance be getting up closer to him. But we saw a ton of elk.
Over a rifle?
Yeah. Just because of they were like my unit for this last bull season is late season in Arizona. Like my unit, we even like tried to find like one of his friends got an elk for his dad and then was like, I'll come and help glass for you guys. And he was like, there's nowhere to glass and like where we're at. There's like heavy trees and you just can't see anything. So we like stalked elk by tracks for 7 days. I got rhabdo, like I died. But we got up on some, but I'm like, dang, like I feel like I wasn't able, like there's so many trees. I'm like, I feel like if I would have gotten closer, like with a bow, I might have had a better chance. But probably not. Like rifle's still always a little easier, but I still didn't get one.
It's hard to get when you have all that. Trying to find them in the scope is hard. It's not fucking easy.
Especially with all the adrenaline.
Unless it's like wide
and like
open or you're shooting across.
Yeah, it was tough. But yeah, so that hunt with Jeremiah, I was like, well, this was like a full-in situation with a stranger who is now like one of my best friends. Like I love his whole family,
That's
like his
amazing.
kids and his wife. Like they're just the best people. But yeah, it was like, we really like did not tiptoe into this relationship of friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a way to forge a friendship. Like I think it shows the true side of somebody when you've spent 5 or 6 days chasing elk. And
I think
how
he was like
miserable and how
grateful too, because like I don't complain, and like I have a lot of like injuries and stuff. Like I had actually torn my shoulder, my right shoulder, my shooting shoulder. I had torn it a couple days before flying out there, and I went to get a cortisol shot because I'm like, I got to pull my bow one time, hopefully, that's all I need. The cortisol, I was like allergic, or the guy did it wrong, and it made me worse. Like any movement made me want to vomit from the pain. It was so bad, and I hiked in like a 50-pound pack, did not complain, like did not like, and I was like, at the very least, like I'll tear my shoulder again, like shooting my bow if I have to get one, like, and I think he was like, oh yeah, like you're no bitch. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, he was like, you kind of walk like a dude or a linebacker. I'm like, thank you, I guess. So that's a compliment.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, just hearing that story gives you a little bit of kudos with me. Not that that's anything
I
like
appreciate
to write home about,
Yeah.
but that's badass.
Yeah.
The drive and passion that's there is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty incredible. That's pretty daunting that you would just dive right into that.
Yeah, well, I want to learn, so I'm gonna like
I'm sorry, is that what forged the friendship between you and Jeremiah?
Yeah.
And then you being the co-founder of War Party Ranch?
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. Because I had like wanted to get involved in War Party movement, and that's when he was mostly just doing like rescues, kind of on his own. Like he still doesn't, but like he can't really talk about it. But he was mostly doing that, and then he had this idea with War Party Ranch, and he like hit me up, and he was like, "I want you to be a part of it if you're willing, like from the ground up." And I was like, "Absolutely! Like this is everything." Like that I want to be a part of, like all the things that I want to help with like mental health and like women and abuse. Like this is, and like especially with natives too, like being part native. I was like, this is like everything that's really important to me, and I would love to be. So, but that trip definitely, I think, forged our friendship and then our like relationship with the nonprofit too, where he's like, oh, I think I can count on this person.
That's amazing. What has been the most beneficial thing of starting War Party Ranch in helping women, whether it's in self-defense classes? I know this is probably a really tough question to answer, but like whether it's self-defense or confidence, or like what's the biggest thing? Because I know you guys are trying to tackle so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of drinking from the fire hose because you guys are just like willing to help in so many different ways.
Yeah. I'm just going to try to think of like the right way to answer this. I feel like for us, or for me specifically, like with doing this, like I've noticed like a trend of when you like share publicly that it allows a lot of people who are struggling silently to also seek help. I think there's like, I think it's like a big deal when people are willing to share their stories, because I know that it's very alienating, whether you're dealing with abuse, domestic violence, depression, like mental health, whatever it may be, even like hearing other people's stories and the fact that they rose and survived and did not succumb to just being a victim gives people like perspective and hope, like seeing that someone else was able to do it. So I think at the very end of the day, having the women and men involved, like changing, I think it's really important that we do have men involved, because if women are getting abused, men are abusing them. So if it's 1 in 3 women who are seeing violence in their lifetime, it's most likely a man dealing out that violence. So having amazing, incredible men setting the standard for other men is just as important as showing women that they're capable and strong and don't have to put up with it. I think it's twofold. It's not just one or the other. So I just think sharing these stories and then like seeing the impact, like I know at the end of the day that recidivism for abuse, like we talked about, is very common. So if you change one woman's life, that's one less statistic, and I think that's incredible. And I think it snowballs. I think maybe if you change her life, maybe she'll change someone else's, or be another example of getting out and doing better. So it's really rewarding, especially coming from like where I came from and knowing that it's possible, like showing other women that it is, like, I don't know, it's very, very satisfying and kind of motivating and inspirational for me to see them do better.
Yeah, it's a form of service too, I think.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's almost where we started the podcast.
Yeah,
Should
really
we
is.
end on this
It's
note,
like
or do we
circle.
keep going?
Hey, this is up to you.
Okay. Well, I want to keep going with you for a minute. We came this far. So what is, I guess, moving forward? I know you guys are new and kind of trying to figure this out, right? Like how long has War Party Ranch been an organization?
Only a
now?
couple years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And War Party Movement was like a year before that, or
Maybe a couple years before that,
Okay.
before War Party Ranch got started. But yeah, they're both kind of, and I don't know how long Jeremiah was kind of doing things just on his own, because I know like originally how it started was because of his mom. So
Right.
like, the idea, concept, or even the service of War Party Movement may have existed before the actual like organization. But War Party Ranch is new. It's like 2 years old now.
okay.
Yeah. And I
What
feel
is-
like we started over this year. Whole new board.
Really?
Whole new, trajectory of like what we were doing. So
A board of badasses too,
Yeah.
by the way.
yeah, really grateful
Yourself
for the
included.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's
the least
it's very
badass of
cool.
everyone.
No, I don't know. On the pistol range,
Yeah.
maybe it's a different story,
Yeah.
right? But what is the vision or the ultimate goal? And I know it's still kind of molding and it's evolving a little bit,
Yeah.
but like, is it to help everybody or just certain people, or like at some point you have to draw some lines in the sand,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like,
it's for women, so it's not for everyone. This isn't for men or veterans. Like all four other organizations that help them out, there's a ton of them. But this is specifically for women, especially women who have been trafficked or abused. And then we do try to cater a large portion of what we do towards Native women. That's kind of how like this all started, because Native women women are 10 times more likely to see violence than a regular woman. So that's like, and there's the statistics for women on the reservation, Native women, is completely skewed. There's a lot of like bureaucracy and like communication complications with all of that.
Because it's federal land, or is it
Because the reservation police and the federal government, it's separate. So, and then it's very convoluted, like, but, like if something happens on reservation, a lot of times they want to keep it quiet too. Like if something violent happens, there's a lot of keeping it quiet, keeping under wraps, handle it themselves, but nothing gets handled. Either they don't have like the means or the capability to, and then sometimes they'll call in federal help, but they really don't like to. They don't like getting help from them. So it's just like, it's complicated. There's a lot of, that's like, so we started working with Traverse Project, and they have been working heavily with certain Native tribes to get communication and just working together a little bit more efficient and like breaking down some of those barriers to help the people on reservations, especially the women. So like that's the thing we're doing. Essentially, we're working as like a recovery program at this point. So we're not we're not rescuing women. Like sometimes we'll try to advocate for that or find places for them to go. But for the most part, that's more of a War Party movement thing. So War Party Ranch is looked at as like a recovery program for women to find help and get help after the fact, after they've left that type of situation. And that's our goal, is like as a recovery program, essentially. Trying to get funding and we'd love to do like more courses and like broaden our courses, but you have to have money for it.
Yes.
So like right now what we're doing is just like what we can, putting on the self-defense courses. We'd love to do more like martial arts, shooting, but then also we would love to do like more advocacy for even like in the ag world, horsemanship, horse therapy, like anything as a recovery program.
Super expensive.
It's so expensive. Yeah. That's like when we first started, that was kind of our goal.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
and a lot
beneficial.
of the people involved in War Party are very ag based, like either they grew up on farms like I did, doing like horse shows or rodeos, or like Natasha, our president, who is heavy in the rodeo industry. So yeah, that's like we have a lot of stuff we want to do, but just funding is the issue currently. So as we grow and get more people willing to help us, hopefully we can do more and more.
And it is a nonprofit, right? So like if people donate, they can claim it or whatever.
Yep, 501c3, so it is completely a nonprofit status. So everything that gets donated only goes towards like funding courses or for women. Like sometimes we sponsor certain women to come to the courses for free so that they can learn, especially natives. Like we've been trying to sponsor some native girls so they can come, because a lot of times they can't afford it. Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to donate, or
Yeah. There, like, we have links through our website, through warpartyranch.org, and there is donation links, and then we also have email links. So if you wanted to talk to like the president or Jeremiah about like what we need, like sometimes people don't want to donate just money. Like if you needed to donate, I don't know if like we were doing, I don't know,
like the golf tournament,
the
with
golf
Enzo
tournament, yeah, or
yeah.
like we did like a ranch rodeo. Like if you donated, I don't know, hay for the horses, or like bridles or whatever, like for a pistol course you were donating ammo, like my ammo.
So it's not just money. If people have other means,
like
they
goods,
might be able to help in
for
some
sure.
other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
if somebody wanted to get involved or get help,
yeah, you can
how
also
does that work?
Like we have another email link for people to
Okay.
reach out if they did need help or advocacy too.
Okay.
Also our social medias, like if you follow any of the board, like Natasha and Jeremiah deal really heavily with that. And like, but if you wanted to reach out through there, I just sometimes those get lost. So I don't always want to like recommend social media as like a way to reach out to people.
It's so frustrating to me, like dealing with it with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you try to read every message, but we're getting so many now.
Yeah. It's not even that too. Like I've noticed
it's all the fake ones that get in the way.
Don't always come out in order. Like
Right.
I've had people where I'm like, friends of mine, where I'm like, you didn't send me a message. And they're like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, no. And it's like buried somewhere. And I'm like, I never saw this or would have seen it. And
Right.
so I don't trust like Facebook, Instagram. I think it's all like weird algorithms and
It is
glitchy. So our website is the best way to go through that. And there's links and information there.
awesome. Can we dive into a little bit of the statistics just because I didn't know, and because we went and ran this 5K at Red Rocks, then people started asking me more questions, and I'm like just redirecting them to War Party Movement. Are those listed on the website anywhere, or where do you find out like some of the statistics on MMIW specifically?
I don't know if our website has, I know we have some statistics, but there are federal like sites that have all those statistics, and there are specific MMIW websites, like organization websites that have the statistics too.
Okay.
Yeah. I could not like list all of them off of my top of my head for you, but
and I don't mean to put you on the spot on this
okay.
either, so we can edit this out if we need to, honestly. But like, I got some hate for that little clip that I made.
Oh, yeah.
Not like hate, like just like, hey, you're not representing. Some of it was from the Native community. Like, that's not what the red handprint is meant for. But there's like 500, and me and Jeremiah just talked about it. There's like 600 different tribes, basically, essentially, and recognized tribes.
yes.
Or 571, right? Let's round up to let's say 600 tribes in the United States that are federally recognized, and they're all different cultures, right? Like they're all different, have different meanings, even though it's the same concept of living off the land, but some of it wasn't either, you know? Like it's just there's so much diversity in that same culture depending on where you came from a tribe, and not only tribes, that's then broken up into regions where you lived, right? Because you lived a different way.
Yeah. Or if you even grew up on a reservation or didn't. That's I didn't grow up on a reservation like at all. I'm like Lakota, so my mother was born in the Dakotas. But like I didn't grow up on a reservation. I didn't really know much about being Native at all. I wasn't cultured that way. I'm also like half Hawaiian. I was not cultured that way either.
Right.
I grew up on a farm, homeschooled in Colorado. So like the way I was raised was not cultural for either of those things. So I think that makes a difference too. And sometimes people who grew up on a reservation versus didn't, like, they grew up different. So they have like different views and opinions and emotions. Like
it's very much a melting pot now.
Yeah.
Like the culture is dying.
Yeah. Some people just get offended in general when you share stuff that has like, I don't know, like significance, or is like when I shared like May 5th stuff every
Probably
year.
because I was a big white guy running down the road.
Which,
right?
like, good for... So, like, I actually have met, like, natives who get mad about that. Like, I don't think they should wear red handprints. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
I wasn't even wearing a red handprint,
even if you did, I did have someone ask me who's like, do you think it's appropriate? And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? It's to raise awareness. It's not cultural appropriation. They're doing it to raise awareness for an issue that if only natives did it, it would get nowhere. You need other voices. I'm like a big advocate that if you want change, you have to reach outside of like where the problem is. So if it's only natives that have this problem and they still are complaining years and years and years down the road, I'm like, well, maybe you should get fucking white people to help you or other people. Like, this country is huge and people want to help. You can't just be like, nope, only us. And I'm like, well, you still have a problem. So maybe you should get help from other people.
With MMIW, what is the significance? I guess the question that I got asked is like, what is the significance of the red handprint? Because to us, it means something totally different. And it wasn't like one person.
So
it was multiple people.
So the way it originally started and became a thing, I know like there's the story, and we'd have to like look it up because I read it, and I know Jeremiah has posted about it a few times too. This lady put a red handprint on her face and like was protesting, and essentially for, I don't know if it was like a specific case or for in general, like how many missing and murdered Indigenous women, like how the statistic, like it's crazy high.
So
and
this was like a recent,
it was
this doesn't
old.
go back to like.
No, it was older, not like old. But so the paint for natives, like face paint, war paint, it's different for every tribe.
Right.
And I don't know all of them, so I couldn't tell you. It's the same with like paint on your horse. Like there's paint on horses for very specific reasons when they're going to war, like so I'm sure it's different, but I just know for this specific movement, the red handprint has become a symbol of missing and murdered Indigenous women and not women, but yes, but for natives and all of the issues they're seeing. So it's just a symbol now for that. So when people get like, I'm like, maybe it didn't always mean that. Like the swastika didn't always mean that. It was turned into it like in a bad case. I mean, that may be not be the best example, but like symbols are used and then changed and put towards different reasons. So now that's
I'll
what
have to go down another rabbit hole. It's like there's also cultures that adopt things like a rainbow.
Yeah,
the rainbow colors. That's ours. Now they identify with it. Every time that I see a rainbow now, I think of LGBTQTA plus minus whatever. I don't even know them all now.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
and I have nothing against that. Like I have friends that are openly gay.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's all right, but it's like.
But yeah, now the rainbow is a symbol for sure.
It is.
It didn't used to be that way, and now it is.
Now it's on the Hawaiian driver's license.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're like
all of them.
Yeah,
it's always been on Hawaii's driver's license. It's the rainbow state.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm just saying like you can't just take something.
Yeah, I just think people are always looking for something to be upset about. Like I was saying, like May 5th is it's a day for Indigenous and like to raise awareness, and people
it's also Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, and people get fucking pissed it's Cinco de Mayo. And I'm like, first off, not an American holiday. Secondly, you can celebrate both, you idiot. You don't have to be upset. Like, why are you so mad? Or like Columbus Day, which I think is a garbage holiday. People get really mad about it. Like, but they're also not educated in anything about Columbus or who he was or what he did. They're just like, no, this is the way it is, and I'm upset. And I'm like, two things can be true.
And I think it's also realizing that history is brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so brutal.
Yeah.
Like, and if we start digging up and, like, tearing down history and not teaching history and showing it in its true light for as brutal as it was, like, how are we going to know anything for the future? I don't know. It's one of my gripes.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No, I'm a big advocate for, like, truth. Just honest truth, whether it makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable at times, and you don't get to blanket over that and sugarcoat it for your sensitivities. Like you get to deal with it, like, and that makes people better, and it also makes it so we don't repeat mistakes. Like when people get really upset about like history, I'm like, well, it happened.
Yeah.
We're trying to prevent it from happening again, but if you don't learn the lesson, what would keep us from making the same mistakes? Like you should be upset.
Right.
Like it's upsetting. Why are you trying to hide it?
I feel like people need to pull their heads out of the sand a little bit when it comes to like just listening to somebody else's perspective. And I think that that's one great thing that's been about like podcasting is you can, without having to be in the room, and get somebody's true perspective on something. And I know that I have on certain things, or if I feel like I know people that I listen to their podcasts on a regular basis. I feel like I know them more personally, and I've had this happen to me firsthand than they would know me, right? And very few times that I do get recognized, like in an airport or whatever, or somebody listens to the show or is a fan of the show, then I end up talking to them. They know so much more about me than I know about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really cool in one aspect because it gives me a moment to turn around and just put them in the hot seat. It's like, well, you already know everything about me. So I just keep asking them questions because if not, it gets very, very awkward, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I think when it comes to, like, just because you've been told something or you think that you really know about something, like, it doesn't give you the right to, oh God, I don't know how to explain this. It doesn't give you the right to say that you're right and they're wrong, right? I think you should have a conversation about it.
I agree.
And out of all that stuff that kind of happened after the 5K, only one person had a conversation with me about it. Everybody else was just pissed off.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's so weird.
I think two things can be true at the same time. And I think that when people get into the like, I'm right and I'm emotional and I don't want to see another point of view, I think it's really gross and honestly like detrimental to society. I have many friends that I disagree with on a lot of issues, and I see where they're coming from.
Jeremiah and Elk Honey.
No, like even like political
joking.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have friends who are like a little too far right for me and a little too far left for me. But like I'm totally willing to have a conversation and even like not an argument, debate, whatever. We can disagree, and like as long as I like think you're coming from like a genuine place, I don't have to always agree with you. And like sometimes there's no right answer. Like I think two people can be right and or both be wrong, and I just think people
Not
get
every problem needs to be figured out either, right?
or
Like, it's like
agreed
painting.
upon. Like
Yeah.
I actually appreciate that people don't have the same opinions and likes, and I think that's one of the reasons like we live in a great country is because we can disagree and we're allowed to have opinions that differ. Like I think if everyone agreed on this like everything, it would be boring and weird and honestly it seems really toxic. Like you have to think one way. What a
Right.
gross way to think about things. And even if I disagree, like I support people's right to feel that way as long as you're like kind about it. I don't like people who are like hateful. That's my problem. You want to be ignorant and hateful at the same time? Absolutely not. You want to like disagree and be polite about it? Cool. I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Yeah. But I just, I don't understand why, like lately. Maybe it's the internet. I don't know. But people just like don't want to hear other sides. They just want to be validated in their feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that's like,
And I think it comes with corporations too. Like we're seeing it with Meta and like
well, the
some of
media,
these-
yeah, oh yeah, Meta for sure
stuff like that.
controls like your social media is an echo chamber, like 100%. It has literally been proven, and they talk about it. Like they feed you stuff that you agree with, and the news is kind of the opposite. They want to get you upset and emotional because that gets clicks and views. But social media is an echo chamber. It wants to feed you stuff you already like. And people you already agree with. And so you're just surrounded by like, yes, I agree. I like that. It's never like stuff the opposite, which
and
I think
it's
is
almost affirmation for what you're already thinking because it just builds like
yeah,
this
it's confirmation
confidence.
bias.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of you getting a healthy dose of like two different points of view and then being able to make an educated decision on facts and reasoning and also feelings, it's just one side. And I don't think that's healthy.
With your platform and your following, have you noticed anything like, because I'm noticing it with the podcast when we do certain things creatively, like making a clip and maybe there's a gun shown in the first like 5 minutes or maybe it's a bull elk in a backpack or something like that. And it just gets completely shut down.
You gotta put a chick in a bikini in there. That's the.
I don't look good in a bikini. Now I've thought about
honestly,
soliciting.
you in a bikini too would also help. It's gonna ramp up the views, man.
No, I'm no Bert
Instagram
Kreischer.
loves nudity. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I know that helps, and I know that it
Which is garbage.
It stops me when I'm scrolling.
It's honestly depressing, but the algorithm loves it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
Oh, you should see my algorithm.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's like I just realized this. A friend was telling me because your gender is male on your Instagram, it's gonna feed you like the girls in bikinis, like boobs, porn, all of that. Because of your gender, if you were to change it to female, it would stop sending you a lot of that stuff.
Really?
That's like a real thing.
But then everybody's going to think I'm identifying as
I don't
a
think
female.
it doesn't it doesn't show it to anyone. It's just like your back end analytics.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, it's
as
gross.
much as I love it and how much success I've been able to build off of it, there's a hate with it. And I think the more that it evolves and the better that it gets or whatever, the more I tend to hate it because I'm very much that Western culture of we don't like change. Like, like not very much change. So like when I first got on Instagram and we started having success with it, it was great because I was only seeing the content from people that I actually followed. So I was only seeing Half Face Blades post.
Yeah.
I was only seeing Marisa's post, War Party, Jeremiah, but now if you get into like the scroll mode, what I found is I'm not seeing any of my friends' content. I'm seeing shit that's like trying to catch my attention. It's almost like clickbait type stuff, right?
That.
Yeah. Which is great if you're like, there is a time and place for that. But now I've like had to set some rules to where I try not to communicate on it too much.
Yeah.
Like, especially with people that I know, like,
Yeah.
I just moved to text because
Oh, I hate giving my phone number out.
yeah, I do too.
I don't like talking to people, so I feel like it's more acceptable if I ignore you on Instagram because I get like a pass. Same with emails. Like I could take a week to respond to this text message. They're like rude. I can see you read it. I'm like, dang it.
Right.
I wanted to ignore you.
Well, there's ways to turn that off.
Oh no, it's all off. I don't have any of that open, or I do it on purpose so they know ignored.
Right.
Yeah, I want them to know that.
Right.
Keep them in their place.
That's right. No, so I've set some rules. I try not to communicate on it too much because also we've had some instances where like on my page, just because of some of the guests that we have on, some of the stuff that we talk about, I think, I feel like we're in that shadow ban side. I've been told we are. I don't.
Oh, I've been shadow banned a bunch of times. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always curious hearing it from like somebody that has like a huge platform and does professional shooting and advocating for what you advocate for, and it's interesting what kind of happens. Like I've unfollowed friends, or the Mountainside has unfollowed people without unfollowing them.
Oh yeah,
if that makes sense, right? Like I've gone to their page, I'm like, how am I not following this person? And it's like multiple people, or or people are like, did you not see the message that I sent you, or like yeah. And maybe it's air gaps in the system. There's so many fucking people using it, but it's like if it can listen to our conversation right now.
Definitely have been shadow banned, and I've had other friends, especially in the firearms community, because there's like a telltale sign. Like if you had someone try to look up your name. I've done it with other friends too, where they're like, shadow banned, and people are like, it's not real. And I'm like, okay, well, like try to type in their name. Usually it's like, if I write like, okay, it's my Instagram's Marisa, like MARN, like it might be one of the first few that pops up, or if you at least put Marisa LaRen, it would pop up at some point. But when I'm shadow banned,
you the other day.
Yeah, when I'm shadow banned, you have to verbatim type in the exact Instagram handle for all of the everything, and then it will finally do it. But if you don't do it exactly, it won't show you to people.
That's what I had to do the other day for you.
Yeah. So that's a thing that happens. It happens to a lot of people who post firearms. They really stifle firearm content, which is weird because that's always like the content for me that does the best, and I don't even post it that much. But like with all the gun companies, ammo companies I work with, they're always like, the stuff got deleted, taken down, it's against guidelines, or like no views. Like that happens a lot. So you gotta like, again, like gotta mix it up. Put a girl in a bikini in there, and you're anytime. I used to do that where it was like, oh, if I had like a bat, I'm like, maybe I should do a thirst trap. Yeah. Just not really my vibe usually, but my my analytics are really dying.
Right. Yeah, I don't have that luxury, unfortunately.
You can do it.
Well, I was thinking about hiring some Mountainside girls.
I feel like if you did it every once in a while, just you in a bikini.
No,
butt cheeks,
nobody wants to see that. No.
Oh, I bet it would get your views up, though.
And honestly, I don't. Yeah, probably. I don't care about
shock
that.
Value.
Yeah, it would definitely be shock value. Nothing but shock value. Yeah, I just don't care enough about it.
I don't do it anymore.
I've had so many people that are like, let me help you out. And I'm just like, no, what I do appreciate now, like looking back on it, is everything that I have is 100% organic. Like I didn't ask one person to follow me. Yeah. We ask people to subscribe to us on YouTube and stuff because that helps us, or rate and review the podcast. If they really want to know how to help, I'll be like, go to Apple and rate and review, or follow us on YouTube because we're trying to grow that so we can get more money to do more stuff. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And
it's also trendy now. Like the trends, I see it. I hate them because I think they stifle creativity. I feel like a social media app should really kind of cultivate people being creative and showing their content in a way that makes sense to them. But Instagram doesn't want that anymore. They want you to do things a certain way. They want you to use the trendy audio or the freaking whatever trends, and that is the stuff that gets pushed up. So if you're not doing that ever, they're like, we don't care about you. Exactly. And I hate those things. I think they're so annoying.
That's why I think podcasting is the true form of social media.
Probably pretty good. I've always wanted to start a YouTube. I just never had the time to do it. But I think that one's better about because you can be creative and it's not really trendy.
We've had a lot of success and we have a lot of freedom with it, but they shut it down.
They do. Yeah. Depending on what your content. I mean, I don't know. I have friends who have done really well on YouTube and they only do gun stuff. So it's a little bit maybe easier than Instagram.
If you do start that, I might have somebody that can help you out. Because, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But I know some guys that specifically build YouTube channels for the gun industry.
So that's cool.
That I was introduced to.
Kind of want to do like house stuff. We're trying to build a house, so I'm like, I want to do YouTube for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a DIY type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's totally different.
You watch the Home Network?
I used to, I don't really look on TV, but like most of my Instagram feed is home stuff.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like I'm like obsessed with it currently because I'm like in the planning stages of trying to like build a house and like do like barn shop horses, like all of that. So in my head, I'm like,
that's rad.
Gonna try to design it all like myself, and then we're gonna build it, like a good chunk of it at least. Try to like do all the finish and stuff ourselves. So I'm like, I want to do YouTube for that. Like show people how to do that. There's not
that's
a lot.
Rad. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So totally different avenue. Another project and hobby.
Yeah, you got a lot of them.
So many.
That's awesome though. I love it. Well, thank you so much for having us in your space. We've been at this
a long time.
We're like 2.5 hours easily. So I want to be respectful of your time. I really appreciate you. And we have some other obligations down in Tucson starting tomorrow, which is going to be awesome. So super happy to be in the state. Thank you for the hospitality. Real quick before we jump off though, like is there anything you want to drop? What do you got coming up? How do people get in touch with you if they want tattoos, like all that?
So I have a website for any like inquiries on getting tattoo work, and then if I ever do print releases or release paintings, it goes on my website too, and it's MarisaLaRen.com. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, we'll put
like
live
this.
links.
Yeah,
we'll put live links if you're listening to this right now. Just go to the show notes, and there'll be a link to your IG. We'll also do your website, so just send me those and we'll add them all
Instagram and my website is like pretty much the only two things I use right now. So that's where you find me.
And then with War Party, what is there any? I know you just got done with the virtual 5K. Like you guys have done a lot this month, and then you have the whole pistol course.
Yeah, we have another golf tournament happening in June.
That's right.
And then we have that big golf tournament happening with Dan Henderson.
Oh, there's two.
Yeah. So the Dan Henderson one is in August, I believe. You'll have to check the dates because I've got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm pretty sure. So Dan Henderson does like a big charity golf match every year, and we're one of the nonprofits that is going to be getting like that they're sponsoring for us.
It's incredible. It's an incredible.
It's a huge event. Yeah. So that's out in like Temecula, I believe. So I think we're maybe planning on me and Jess is Jeremiah's wife. She's also on the board. Maybe trying to golf in the tournament.
Nice.
So
Another hobby.
I played varsity golf all through high school.
What? Okay, I got to talk to you about that off mic too.
But we have that. We do have a banquet happening in Montana, I believe. That's I don't know how many of us are going to be there. I think it's kind of small. And then we have a rodeo happening, I believe in Gila.
Like the ranch rodeo?
Yeah, like it's like a top hand cowgirl rodeo. All over like this next few months this summer. I think all of our events go up until like September, and then I'm not sure what we have on the docket for the rest of the year. So, but we will be posting about it on Instagram, all the events and like how to participate or donate and be a part of it. But also just sharing posts and like awareness helps us a lot. So,
rad.
Voices.
We'll put in all the War Party links, War Party Movement, War Party Ranch, your website, your Instagram. So yeah, it'll all be in the show notes if you're listening right now. Go and give Marisa a follow. Definitely, if you have the means or you feel like getting involved, donate to War Party.
Yeah,
really Movement, Ranch. All go buy a T-shirt on War Party Movement. They have badass merch, like so cool, cool stuff. Great people, and I'm happy. I feel like you guys are kind of a family, and I'm happy to be friends of the family. I guess. So thank you so much for having us, and. Keep crushing it. We'll do this again. Yeah. If you ever come back to Colorado and you're in or around our neighborhood, I'd love to have you in the studio too. So
I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun, and I'm like really grateful for you to take all this time to come out here and talk to me. So thank you.
I could not come to Arizona and not talk to you. So this was great. Yeah. I love seeing your space.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Jansen, take us away.
Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. If you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.